is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Oh, we're ready to rock and roll. It's a beautiful Thursday, day after Christmas. Yes, sir. Hope you got everything you wanted under that stocking as we're having some fun out here to start it off here in the morning. Hopefully you got your gifts. Are you all right there, brother? You seem all flustered.
Well, I was hoping to have that box for the accident. I see it, but it's not. Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. Bada bing.
There you go. There you go. There you go. It's a beautiful thing.
One button not hit. That's it.
We are on. We are ready to rock and roll. We will be jamming for the next couple of hours here. We got a whole bunch of guests for you. Matt Shodell's going to stop by at 1 o'clock from Canes Sport. We're going to talk a little bit about the Canes, which I got to tell you, they're favored by 7. I'm not sure what the wise guys know that we don't know. That one's kind of weird. We'll get into that. We are awaiting Brian Flores. He's going to have his press conference in just a minute, and we'll air that press conference, and then we'll get over all of that, and we'll have some fun with his comments, and we'll go over things that he said in the press conference today as they get ready to wrap up the season against the New England Patriots. They are wrapping up the season. Right? They have no shot at the playoffs, right? Am I right here?
4 wins, no.
No? Okay, I just want to make sure.
We are in the top 5, though, in draft picks. So, if you're going to be out of the playoffs,
there you go.
You want to be up in the top 5, 6, and we are.
Yeah, exactly. So, top 5, there you go. We'll see if they can actually climb in. You can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105, which, again, you can see it right under the mic right here. Under this big, beautiful mic flag, you see it right there. It says accidentlawfirm.com text line. There you go, Nunez Law, baby. And so make sure you call them, but make sure you reach out to us on the text. Save it on your phone. That way you always have access to it and all that. Oh, wait a minute.
I was going to say, man, France is down. Crank up France, buddy.
There we go. All right, now
Spider-Man appreciates being noticed.
Now we're back. Now we're doing the right thing here. Now we've got it going on. So we'll get into Brian Flores' press conference. We'll get into his comments day after Christmas as they get ready for a little New England Patriots, a nice trip for them where they have an opportunity of shocking the world like the Warriors shocked Houston yesterday, or did they expose them? We'll get to that. And then what was the other surprise yesterday? New Orleans beating Denver yesterday, the last game of the evening. So it was a lot of fun yesterday watching a bunch of basketball, eating leftovers, of course, because you got to have the leftovers, especially since I did get my turkey that I missed out on Thanksgiving. I got it on Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve, that is, because obviously it's Noche Buena for us. And it was awesome, man. It was so good. It was heaven-like is what it was.
So it made up for the Thanksgiving miss.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that lingers, and you, miss it, and you regret it, and you're like, wow, I didn't have it this year. And then now I finally had it, and so I told the old lady, and I said, "You came through. You made up for not being here in Thanksgiving." And then I told her, "Don't ever schedule another vacation during Thanksgiving. You got 50 other weeks. Okay, the week of Christmas and the week of Thanksgiving. Oh man, you got to be here with us." The other 50 weeks, you can plan your vacations, go wherever you want, dude. But on the days that you got to be here to, come through with the turkey or the lechon. I even put back the lechon. Now, for those of you out there that might think, wow, that's blasphemous. He put down the lechon. I do have gout. Okay, so you know what I mean? It's like I'm actually doing myself a favor. I mean, I'm not that I would get a reaction off of eating one trip to the pork, but it's just, if I can avoid the meat sometimes, I'll just do it just because I know it's one less chance that I have an opportunity of getting a reaction. But more than anything, I really wanted my turkey.
You could catch the lechon for New Year's Eve.
Right,
man.
exactly. I will. Dude, I'm Cuban. I have plenty of time
Yes,
for lechon.
yes.
It's just like, that's like out of style. You go to, I'll show up at a cigar bar and they're cooking a lechon. And everywhere you go, they're cooking a lechon. So it's like, I'm not going to miss the lechon. You know what I mean? But I did miss good turkey.
I'll tell you when we
Something
made it.
about good turkey, brother.
We
It's
made
just-
an analysis because there was the possibility of the folks not being in town, going out, seeing other family for Thanksgiving.
Right.
So it's like, if you're not here for Thanksgiving, no big deal because everything made from scratch and all that, special deal. We'll just put it on to Christmas. No
Right.
big deal.
Right.
And no, yesterday with everything, with Christmas Eve, and then yesterday and the nieces and everybody and us doing a little breakfast thing, and then, of course, busting out, the traditional ham, everything. It was like that statement I had made about, if we miss Thanksgiving, we'll do, no, because there's too much going on with Christmas to then incorporate Thanksgiving dinner the way they do it, the hours. We don't have it. Forget it. It's too much. So cancel that idea. Bad on Bill's part. Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. Christmas is for Christmas. You can't put you can't put Thanksgiving dinner with Christmas because there's too much going on with Christmas already. It'd be overkill.
Yeah.
There would be no time, and my parents would have been more worn out than they were.
Yeah. Well, it was good last night or yesterday to relax, and we did put up a little mini podcast for you on
You did
Christmas
more than
Day.
a mini, man. You'd put a 5, right? Four, 5.
Yeah, but I mean, it was only a half hour that we put up because there wasn't a lot going on. But we went over some of the news and notes that went on yesterday, and we passed it on to you guys. We got a loaded show for you today on the program. We are rocking one of two shows, by the way, because we're on Mad Dog Channel tonight from 8 to 11. So we'll be rocking tonight from 8 to 11, having a little fun there on Mad Dog. But we are awaiting Brian Flores, who is now 1 minute late, which is pretty amazing. He's never really this late, actually. But lately, the last couple,
yeah.
he's been kind of dragging ass here. Maybe it's the end of the season, and it's like, you guys will be there. You're not going anywhere. And you're right, Coach. We're here. We're awaiting. I don't want to continue with the talk show until I get to this because I want to knock this out.
Couple of wins gives you a little space on show up time for press conference, maybe.
I don't know. Or it's like, it's the end of the line already at this point. He's probably a little tired of talking to us, which I don't blame him for not wanting to talk to us.
You know what?
Sometimes we're a pain in the ass.
I
What
gotta
can
say, considering what we were, 0 wins, getting 4, and it being tough watching some of the games, this went by pretty quick.
told everybody.
Truly,
It's just,
it really. I would have thought it would have been like a double season, and obviously with the negative, and all that,
I
it would just
enjoyed it.
drag.
Well, because
this has flown by.
remember, Bill, if it would have been the first 2 weeks for 17,
Oh
Then-
no, we
then-
would have had people, jumping off of buildings.
buildings and bridges, I probably would have, my mind probably would have exploded too. You know what I mean? If you had to put up with what you saw the first 2 weeks. But that's where this story becomes pretty amazing, that this man was able to reach those players. And you got to think about how low those players were after 2 weeks, how demoralizing it must have been, how eye-opening it must have been that, holy crap, we can't hang with these people. Like, they are way better than us. And then you've got to imagine, when is this going, and then
No, compounded
start-
with the fact that we had Dallas and the Chargers that were playoff teams.
All 4.
That this ain't going to get any better. 3, 4.
Yeah, 4
right?
weeks. It was 4
Yeah.
weeks of brutal teams. It was all playoff teams pretty much in the first 4 weeks. But for Flores and his staff to reach his players and for them to have that kind of success after those first 2 weeks and still have hope. And that's the other thing, that it shows you that those players had a belief in their coaching staff and in Flores. And remember, in those first 2 weeks, everybody's reporting that everybody wants to quit the team and they want to get traded, and and that they hate everything here, and none of it was true. Okay, so Fitzpatrick wanted out. Fine, but it wasn't everybody. Everybody didn't want out. And so that wasn't true. And everybody, bought in, which also wasn't true. The fact when everybody, the Dolphins have quit. Well, we're 17 weeks in, man. Nobody ever saw quit in anyone on this team. If anybody quit, that's because you were just like Charles Harris. Charles Harris is a quitter because Lord knows that he has a lot of talent and he should be really, really good. And he's got the ability, but he doesn't have the heart. So that's where, the Dion Waiters, the Taco Charlton, not the Charles Harris, the Whitesides, you can't control those kind of players. It is what it is. Hey, Minka didn't want to be Mr. Swiss Army Knife. He didn't want to be Mr. Team Player. So he got out. That's it. But everybody else wanted to be a team player. And that's why this season has gone the way it's gone. And that's a huge tribute to Brian Flores and his staff, because you've got the world laughing at you. You've got people writing left and right about all kinds of supposedly bad things going on with the football team, and yet none of it was true, and all of those guys fought back from all that adversity to start winning games, to start playing better and better and better, because after that second week, they lost, but they got better in week 3, and they got better in week 4, and then so on and so forth, and wins started to come, and before you know it, haven't they won 4 of their last 8, right? Aren't they like 500 in their last 8 games? That team is 500 in their last 8 games. Is that stupid or what? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it took the people that we're talking about, endangering life, all that
crap.
Somewhere between week 10 and 12. Somewhere in that area, maybe 13, is when people started going, hey, wow.
Right.
This team is actually, trying, and they're winning.
Oh, they were trying from the get-go, even when they were just bad because they're young, bro. They're
lack of experience.
Talent, experience, all that stuff. You compound it, and, it's like I kept telling you guys all year, and I was telling the Tankers this. This is an expansion team built through youth. I keep telling people this. That's what it is. So it's even worse than a regular expansion team because you have little to no veterans whatsoever for leadership, for experience, for, stuff to young guys that they could use as a reference point. Fitz and a couple of other guys. There's not too many guys. Rashad Jones. There's only a couple of guys that they can actually walk to and say, hey, you've been through this. Godchild's been here a couple of years, but it's not here long enough to really be a veteran. You know what I mean? Fitzpatrick and Rashad Jones, those are the kind of guys that you're on that. There aren't a lot of those kind of guys. And that becomes a real challenge for the coaches, because the coaches also rely on stars, on their anchor guys, on their leaders to kind of be the
glue that helps the rest of the team.
Well, not only that, but it's also the guys that are the guys that are leading and sending the message and setting the examples and teaching them and all that. And they don't have any of that. And they don't have a group of captains that they can meet with that have experience in leadership and been there, and then they can talk to all the guys, whether you're a first or a second or third year player, and you're growing in this whole thing and trying to figure it out, and you can lean on somebody. In a couple of years, this team will have several of those, because Jerome Baker will become one, and Christian Wilkins will become one, and Davin Godchild will become one, and X is probably one now at this point, but he's not even on the team because he's injured. But these are the things that you just don't have a lot of. And they had to overcome that as a coaching staff early on in this season. And they're basically the leaders also on the team, the coaches. That's a lot.
It's another factor, from week to week, losing guys to injury, them being able to maintain and continue their acceleration of improving while losing some of your guys you were counting on. Super impressive.
I don't see any press conference coming up. I wonder if Something happened. Did they change the time or something? I didn't see it. But I don't know. Keep abreast of it there and see if we can continue, and we'll continue talking a little bit about that. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so let's start talking a little bit here. Well, we did talk a little bit about the adversity there and the accomplishments from the Dolphins this year. But we've got the Canes today, this afternoon at 4 o'clock, the Independence Bowl as they take on La Tech and the University of Miami. Matt Schodell is going to join us at 1 o'clock, so we'll talk to him about the Canes. And one of the things that, for me, I find kind of interesting is the line. Considering how bad Miami has been this year, okay, they're 6-6. They're going up against a 9-3 team in La Tech. And La Tech, let me tell you something. I run into La Tech players every year at the East West or at the Senior Bowl. Every year I run into one or two that just, you're like, hey, like Richmond, the Spiders. Some guy will show up maybe every other year, and I'm like, all right. And it's one of those things that you kind of keep track of when you do this every year, because you're going to see the Oklahomas and the Alabamas and the Florida States and the all those normal schools that you're going to see at these all-star type games. La Tech's one of those schools that they've been messing around like that for a while now, and they've done a pretty good job of recruiting, and some of their players have transferred and have played really well at the NFL level. And I saw the line today, and it was 6.5. It's gone up to 7 now. Miami is favored. The over and under is 49.5. And I really want to know, look, I'm not the guy that's going to sit there rooting against my team and betting against them, okay? But I got to tell you something. That seems to me like a gift to bet on Louisiana Tech. Okay? Just in case you thought I was leading to, the U is good. I have no faith in the U. They've lost players for this game. Key players that are not playing in this game. And they got guys that got to fill in for them that are untested, unproven, and not nearly as good enough. And you weren't good enough as it is, even with those guys. Even at full strength, you may lose this game. And I was talking about this yesterday. The fact that Manny didn't name a quarterback, and he's at the end of the season now in a bowl game, and he still doesn't know who the best quarterback is, it's really an indictment on the coaching staff that they did not figure that out already. Because they should. That's what they get paid to do, because you've got to figure it out who it is, stick with him, because it's your best chance so you can build continuity, build up confidence. One of the reasons why the Dolphins have a fighting chance week in and week out, it's because those other dudes actually believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick.
You don't think it has anything to do with keeping La Tech on the fence of which guy to prepare for?
Really?
I'm just throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out there,
and I'm throwing it back at you.
Miami needs every little advantage they can get.
Really?
To not announce.
What advantage is there?
Well,
neither guy scares you, dude.
True.
They're both mediocre. Neither guy does anything. The fact that you even thrown Martell in there, supposedly, which, come on, we know he's not going to win it. But it's like nobody's stupid enough to believe that you've got Tate Martell in there for legitimate purposes outside of mentally keeping him in there. That's all you're doing. You're at the bowl game, and you're worried about keeping all three of them mentally in. That's really what I think this is all, that the lack of maturity from these guys, that if you had your guy named, the other two would tune you out already as it is. So are you, because it's an indictment either way. If you don't know who the best of the three is at this point by the end of this season, then you're a terrible coaching staff. And if your three quarterbacks they're a bunch of mental midgets that you can't keep them focused, that you've got to hold on like a carrot on who's starting because you might lose the other two and they may not be ready for you on game day, then you suck also as a coaching staff. Because I just started the damn show by talking about how Flores wins people over, wins their confidence in the mouth of adversity, in the face of adversity, in the center of the vortex of media criticism.
Bottom line, we talked about it.
It's like, seriously?
When a coach loses a locker, you're talking about the coach losing the locker room.
Well, it's not so, losing or not getting respect or whatever,
Right.
but
yeah, like I'm going to tune you out.
well, we can't say the Canes respond to Manny.
You know what's another scary thing?
Not even his defense responds to him on a consistent basis.
Every time we've had 2 weeks to prepare, we have looked hard. We've had, 4 weeks, 3 weeks?
Which is going to make it even worse.
Exactly.
That's why, I saw the line, and I mean, I'm not going to sit here and root against them. I'm just telling you, who the hell are the Canes to give anybody 7 points, dude?
And you're in their backyard.
Yeah, that's also a great point. You are, I mean, and Miami's not traveling to Shreveport, dude. You might get a couple fans to go to some other places that are really nice, but a Canes fan on average is not going to Shreveport, dude. The few that are there, they're so small.
Those are family members.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, there's a couple of fanatical people, but it's so few that you're not going to make an impact whatsoever. It'll be a home, and remember, they're going for they've won a whole bunch of bowl games, La Tech. So they're on a roll on bowl games, and we're talking about a team. Like I'm telling you, it's a program that is more on the rise than the University of Miami is La Tech. Because I tell you, because I see it every year that they're actually getting guys into the league.
Every year they get, 2 or 3 guys on
Not 2
average?
or 3, but at least 1 or 2. There have been years where I've seen like 3 guys out of La Tech, and you're like, holy crap. You know, and it surprises you. Teron Armstead, who's been playing in the O-line for a long time in this league, and, he already got old, but he's a La Tech guy. There are La Tech guys all over the college football scene, man. And that's why, to me, it's just, I saw 7 points, and I'm like, no way, man. This has got to be a typo. This is a mistake. I went and looked at 2 other services, and it's gone up from 6.5 to 7 points. Whether it's 6.5 or 7, I would take La Tech. I would. I don't know what you guys are doing out there, and I'm just saying that would be my suggestion. I'll give you my NBA picks later on the show. I got to make sure I get all the lines in because they weren't all complete yet. So hopefully towards the end of the show, we'll have a better feel. We went 2-2 yesterday against the number, so we're now 17-7. We've kind of been at 500 the last 3 days. I haven't really been terrible, but I haven't been good either. So I've been just kind of even right now. So I am due for a breakout day. Hopefully today will be the breakout day.
Basketball to be 500, there's no shame in that.
I know.
But basketball is brutal.
After going 11-0 in my first 2 days, I gotta bounce back.
You had to come back to earth a little.
Yesterday was freaky because yesterday I had the over in the Raptors Celtics game that hit. I took the Bucks in that game, and obviously the Sixers shot lights out yesterday. And let me tell you something about that game that pissed me off. And not because I bet on it and I lost or anything like that. You know that the Sixers lately now, the Heat exposed them with the zone that they can't shoot. They're not really a great three-point shooting team. And I know yesterday was at 21 of 44. But the Bucks did not start off with the zone. They didn't start playing zone until later in the game. And by then, Philly was already in a groove. And they had confidence rolling and all. It was too late by the time they went to the zone. I think it was in the early third quarter or something like that they started going to a zone, or midway through the third quarter. And I'm scratching my head going, why didn't you start out in the zone right from the get-go? Mess with their confidence. Why did you let them play their game and then they got it going and you were done? To me, it didn't make any sense whatsoever. And you got what you deserved yesterday. And remember, as the zone went on in the fourth quarter, the percentage for the Sixers shooting was going down. They got a couple of threes at the end. My guy Tobias Harris got it for my fantasy team. It was great. But my point is that they only needed a couple shots at the end to just kind of seal it and put them off. But Milwaukee was storming back, and that's because you maintained the zone in the second half, and slowly but surely the Sixers shooting percentage got worse and worse and worse and worse because they went back to reality. Anybody can have a great night and shoot and score, and we saw, Rex Chapman with 39 beat Michael Jordan and Pippen, you know what I mean? So anything can happen in the NBA on any given night, just like in the final game that I didn't have any action in it, but New Orleans beat Denver 112-100. Brandon Ingram was red hot. The team shot well, and obviously New Orleans is not better than Denver, not even close. But you come in hot, there it goes. But last night, to me, that's what kind of stood out. When I was looking at that game, I was like, how did you guys not go to the zone right from the get-go? And the Sixers tied a franchise record with those 21 threes. To me, it made no sense whatsoever. Jay Rich, 4 of 11 from three-point range. My boy Tobias Harris, 5 of 7. Horford, 3 of 7. Embiid, 3 of 6. And the Furkan guy was 4 of 5. That guy's been playing really well lately. Let me tell you, if you need threes and you're in fantasy, Furkan is a guy that you may want to pick up, not as an everyday fantasy guy, but if you're in those leagues that need, three-pointers and categories, that Cork Maz guy can shoot, man. Embiid 4 straight games of 30-10. After he got ripped by Shaq and Barkley for effort, he's kind of turned it on, and to his credit, at least he took in the criticism and he did the right thing. But Philly against Dallas shot 29%. And you know when they played Dallas, it was right after Miami. So Carlisle saw what Spo did, and they did the same thing.
Got the blueprint.
And then they played 2 crappy teams that they beat, and then now these guys yesterday, it's like, do you see what 2 of the best coaches in the league did, Spo and Carlisle? Do the same thing. And that's why you probably deserve the loss.
Speaking of Dallas, Doncic, your boy, is back.
Yeah, man, but I can't even put him in the lineup till next week, so that sucks.
That's
the
Monday
week.
lock.
So that would have locked me in for sure. I'm in a battle this week to just try to win, but that's all right. Next week I'll be fully healthy, ready to go, and routing fools left and right to another title. Anyway, so yesterday. We saw that in the Bucks, and then the Clippers. I had action in that one. I went with the Clippers, and that I took the 2 points. I saw the Lakers were favored, and obviously, I know it's technically home court advantage, but it's really not because they both play on the same court. Excuse me, but obviously that night is a night where it's more. Yesterday, it's more Lakers because it's their home game. Clippers are a better team, and one of the things that I've talked about the last couple of weeks here is the Lakers have been killing themselves to get to where they're at right now. And meanwhile, the Clippers have been pacing themselves. And they rest when they need to rest. They're not playing all kinds of crazy minutes and games. And you know what, Kawhi, it's the load management, all of that. Their records now are pretty similar, 23-10 for the Clips and 24-7 for the Lakers. And the Lake Show yesterday, they were already going in banged up, LeBron and AD. And I think one of the things that we're starting to find out is that the cyborg is no longer a cyborg anymore. He broke down last year. He's breaking down again yesterday. He aggravated the groin injury, and he's going to miss some time. Lakers now have lost 4 in a row. AD came into this game with some injuries. Already has missed a couple of games due to injuries. And he's injury prone. Now, let me add something now. If LeBron is going to miss a significant amount of time or any kind of time, a week or 2 weeks or 3 with this groin injury, last time he missed, I don't know, I think it was like 18 games or something. You're going to put a lot of stress on AD, a guy that really is not built to handle it, because he's not. AD's a great player. We all know it. He's got incredible ability. He's a freak, but he's fragile. He's a fragile freak. And if you're now going to put the weight of the world on him to carry this team, they got the Blazers tomorrow night. And it's a road game. And not that the Blazers are any incredible team this year. They're not playing that well. But still, my point is that now you start to put more wear and tear on Anthony Davis while LeBron is out. This is going to be a problem for them. And this is why I believe, look, yesterday you saw the play you needed to see. Patrick Beverley. The block steal on LeBron to end the game right there and then. The Lakers don't have a Patrick Beverley on their team, and they don't have a Lou Williams either. You and I can have some fun, and we can start Kawhi and Paul George up against LeBron and AD, and I'll still go Kawhi and Paul George. But we can have fun discussions, and you can make a case for LeBron and AD, right? But you can't make a case for everything else that comes after that. The supporting cast from the Clippers side is just superior. That on nights that you can rest your guys, you can win those games. The Lakers, they're going to lose games. And they're going to lose several games now if LeBron is out. And maybe that's why LeBron was killing himself, because he knows that he doesn't have that kind of cast around him. But LeBron cannot kill himself. But he also, here's the catch-22 with the Lakers this year. And LeBron. LeBron in the East, for many years, was able to pace himself. Why? Because he knew that the East was a lock. It didn't matter what he did, they were going to be able to control their destiny and their fate in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference, because he knew if he was the 4 seed, he could get to the finals. It didn't matter. He could be the A seed with the Cavs or the Heat, and he was still going to get to the finals because it's the East. He can't do that in the West. And that's why I think LeBron and AD, and obviously LeBron leading the charge on why he was playing like a maniac. Because he wanted to build up as many wins as possible to try to see if he can coast a little bit too. Kind of kick, push, coast. That kind of stuff. And he wasn't able to sustain it now. Now he has broken down again. Things have changed in LeBron's world. He is no longer the cyborg. And this Lakers team is not the kind of Lakers team, at least I don't believe, that can go in as a 4 seed or a 3 seed or a 5 seed and get to the Western Conference Finals. I think it's imperative for them to be a number 1 or number 2 seed. That they've got to be no worse than 2, where they don't face the Clippers till the Western Conference Finals. So that way, at least they're playing on their home court when it's all said and done. And that's where this is going to get intriguing for the Lakers. That to me, I mean, that would be pretty amazing if they're able to do that. I think that would be really, really cool to see LeBron just kind of go through some frustrations.
Well, the West is a different beast. The 8th seed.
Too dominant, bro.
This 8th seed is no slouch.
Yeah, too dominant. Too dominant.
And like you said, yeah, the seeding matters way more in the West than in the East. The East, it's,
I don't think I think this Laker team just does not have the kind of depth Yesterday they were finally smart and they started using Kuzma more, which I did not get why they weren't using Kuzma. And I don't know if it'll work out still because he plays the same position as AD. So that becomes a little bit of a challenge for the Lakers. But I just don't feel they have the pieces around them in a Western Conference to last all year and be a 1 or 2 seed if LeBron cannot stay healthy. And if the Cyborg can no longer stay healthy, then that's going to be a major, major setback for the Lakers and a reason why listen, from the get-go, I've picked the Clippers anyway. But I think yesterday we saw it. They came out really hot, and then the Clippers just eventually wore them down when it was all said and done, and
when you get
winning it.
when you get to these upper teams, be it the East, West, whatever, okay, it comes down to defense, and they got 3 guys on that team with Lou, and of course the 2 monsters.
Not Lou, Beverly, you mean?
Beverly, I'm sorry. Yes, the play at the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, Patrick is, but that's what he is. Period.
Yes, and to have 3 defensive beasts. Yeah. You saw that. That's what made the difference. Right. The Lakers had, what was it, an 8-point lead?
Yeah.
In the start of the fourth, probably to like about the 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, they just,
and that's when it turned.
Boom.
Yeah,
and Kawhi started hitting threes, and the thing is that Paul George and Kawhi are superior defenders now. LeBron is no longer the defender that he used to be. He can still give you team defense, but he's not going to be the individual defender that he's been in the past. Those numbers have been going down lately in the last few years. And that's why when you've got Paul George and Kawhi, that just changes everything. Then Patrick Beverly on the perimeter, you got a pain in the ass. And let me tell you, Montrezl Harrell is not even bad to help you out as a big man also. But you're right. The top 3 guys are the nasty guys. And to me, that's why it's Clippers over Lakers when it's all said and done. Now I want to see how they handle everything from here on out. LeBron yesterday shot 2 of 12 from 3-point range. He just kept launching them, and, I mean...
That groin, man, you don't get that extra oomph that you need to get to the basket.
Yeah. Kuz went 4 of 9. That really helped him out yesterday. And that suit that Kuzma had yesterday, holy crap. You better perform, dude, when you come dressed like that. Did you see that suit?
No, I did not.
Oh, you got to go see. Go. Just put on Twitter Kuzma's suit, and I'm sure it'll pop up 1,000 pictures of it and memes and jokes and all that. That was one of the uglier suits I've ever seen in my entire life.
So instead of an ugly sweater, he went with an ugly suit.
Period. It was terrible. I mean, terrible, dude. Light green or whatever it was. I mean, it was horrible, brother. But I got to give him props. He wore a crappy and ugly-ass suit, but the dude came out and balled yesterday. I'll give him props for that. But you Lakers fans, you got to be concerned, man. And here's the other thing. If the Lakers break, if this is a sign of things to come with LeBron, then this move is over before it starts. Because think about this. If you're not able to get it done this year, what do you think? You're going to get it done next year when he's a year older? I mean, he's only getting older now. He's only breaking down more now. I mean, think about it. We've never seen LeBron like this anymore. I mean, this is new to us. What happened last year and now what's happening again? This is all new to us. We're not used to watching this guy break down ever. He doesn't break down. That's the thing. That's the amazing part about LeBron.
I remember in the beginning of the year, because of him not being in the playoffs and doing the usual final run, you know what I mean? And the wear and tear on your body of those extra 20, 30, and it being playoff games. Yeah. It does take a toll. He had an extra bounce, an extra step, you know, right, to start the season. Now we're into 30-some. Obviously, what's his name being hurt a little bit, and him, you know, like you said, no load management, going balls to the wall every game. Let's get that number 1 seed. This wearing down, you're pointing out something though that maybe he is human.
Well, now he's human. Wasn't human before. Go Gator says salutations. Good morning, sir. Hey, Big O, I enjoy the show, but I'm not sure if you know, but there is an echo. Really? There was an echo. All right. I didn't know there was an echo, but. Well, now he's human. Oh, yeah, there is like a little echo in the background. Yeah. Yep. There is a little echo in the background. We will look it up there for you. SWVY podcast. Michael DeLuca says, good morning and Merry Christmas, Big O. Hope you and your family enjoyed. Yes, we did. Flipside Fishing says, top of the morning, and we thank all of you that are watching or sending in a text there on the YouTube chat board. We got a loaded show for you today, as always. We will have a handicapper for you at noon, so we'll have a little fun, and we'll talk all things betting at noon. If you have any questions on betting, any kind of angles you're looking at for college sports, bowl games, NBA, futures, anything you want, send it in. We will ask at noon. And we have our Hialeah Park sports investment segment coming up at noon. At 1 o'clock, Matt Shodell from Kane Sport is going to stop by. We'll have a little fun with Matt. We'll talk all things Canes. I will ask him, how in the hell are the Canes favored by 7 in this game? 1:30, Jake Rowe is going to join us. He works for 247 Sports, and he covers the Georgia Bulldogs. Guess what? It's our Jake Fromm focus today. Since we've been going around, we for those of you that missed it, you can go back to the podcast. Go to our website, by the way, BigORadioshow.com. All of the podcast segments, interviews, rants, they're all there. You can click it if you don't want to download the SoundCloud app or iTunes or whatever. And you could get the interviews there where we talked to Martin Houston about Tua, and we talked to, what's my man's name for Burrow?
Brody
Miller. Brody Miller from The Athletic joined us 2 days ago to talk about Joe Burrow. So we've done Tua and Burrow. Today we are doing Jake Fromm. So we'll get into it with Jake Rowe, and we'll ask him all the Jake Fromm questions. We'll get his thoughts on Jake Fromm. Some folks like Jake Fromm, man. Yeah, you know, I don't know if you do or not, but some folks do like Jake Fromm. I'm not necessarily a Jake Fromm guy. I haven't bought Jake Fromm, but hey, it is what it is. We will talk to Rowe about that. At 2 o'clock, Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald, our Inter-Miami report. We normally do it on Wednesdays, but I'm not going to bother Michelle on Christmas Day or anything like that. And then at 2:30, David Dwork is going to join us to talk a little Panthers. The Panthers are off tonight and Friday. Saturday, they take on the Red Wings at the BB&T Center. So we'll talk to David about that. And I got to get into it with a little food with David too, because he put a picture yesterday on Twitter of his the roast that he made. Man, that thing looked good. Wow, that was he made me hungry just by.
I saw that shot. Yeah, that looked perfect. The crispy on the outside.
I mean, it was cooked like I wanted to jump through the screen, bro. Jump through. It was like. Okay,
don't forget to bring a fork and a knife, though.
Just give me gout. I don't care. Give me it. We also. All right. Jose, Jason, Alex, Tony, Sasha, all the great people at Vape and Smoke Shop in West Pines. We want to welcome them aboard as one of our new sponsors, proud sponsors on the program. It seems like our sponsors are growing every single day. And so Vape and Smoke Shop in West Pines. You can go to VSS West Pines on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. They don't do a lot of Twitter, but they do a lot of Facebook and a lot of Instagram. and follow them there out in West Pine. So if you want to go see Jason or Alex or any of the guys out there, make sure you tell them that we sent you and welcome aboard. We will be doing shows out there. We will be doing shows out there starting next month in January. And here's the other thing. January, 2020 now changes some things on the show. And a great way for you guys to join us every single week. All right? Thursday and Friday, Bill and I are going to be working like absolute animals. Every Thursday from now on, not today, okay, because today ends, the month of December, we're done. But starting next Thursday, which should be, like January or whatever it is, every Thursday we will broadcast at Toyota of Hollywood from here on out. All throughout 2020, every Thursday, you can, if you happen to be in the Hollywood area, you work, you live, guaranteed every Thursday we'll be there from 11 to 3 during 2020. And then also, Fridays, it's going to be crazy, okay? Every Friday now, we will broadcast in the mornings at Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines. We'll be out there for a few hours starting off 8 a.m. We'll have some fun out there. And then at 1 o'clock, we'll be broadcasting till 4 at Hialeah Park. So that'll be every Friday now. That's how it's going to be. We're going to be at 2 different places, and we're going to do 2 shows every Friday now. So you'll get about 4, 5, 6 hours of programming. Really, it's like 8 hours of regular radio programming. So we'll have lots of guests on Fridays, and we'll break everything down like we normally do, whether it's basketball, football, hockey, baseball, soccer. Can't wait for that. That'll be a lot of fun. So Fridays will be locked and loaded. Are you hearing, is there less echo now? No? Still going on?
Oh, I made some adjustments, and it still sounds like it's back there.
Okay. All right. All right. So we'll try to fix that. I don't know if is it that mic's on too? No? Oh, okay. All right. Just in case. All right. So we'll try to fix the echo effect there for you. Well, it's not too bad. And when I pulled it up, now I don't hear any. There we go. It's not too bad. So hopefully everything will work out and we'll get it done. Anyway, if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, you can also reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show, and reach out to us on Instagram at Big O Radio Show, also on Instagram. We do want to remind you that the show is proudly brought to you by Moody's Dental. And I got to tell you, the Invisalign and implant experts, take advantage right now, folks. Call them, 305-821-0231, whether you need a cleaning, whether you need, it doesn't matter, whether it's root canal, you got to get a crown, implant. They do it all, man, and they are proud sponsors of our program, and they've got modern equipment. That's the thing, state of the art. It is awesome. I mean, a lot of places you got to get a crown, and you got to have a temporary for a week or two while they make it, right? At Moody's Dental, they make it right there and then. Right when you're sitting in the chair, they take that digital imprint right away, put it in the machine, a couple minutes, they've got your tooth. How about that? No more walking around with a temporary. That's another trip to the. Why do you want to do 2 trips? One of the things that Eric does is he thinks about his patients. He knows that you guys don't want to, take work time off from your job. In fact, there are days where they're open till like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Why? Because there are clients over the years that they can't make it by 5 o'clock. So he opens later on certain days. I mean, really, Moody's Dental, they are all about you, the client. Please reach out to them at moodysdental.com. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental.
Tech title, it includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are ready to start off hour number 2 of the program. And it's Thursday, so on Thursdays we do the Hialeah Park Casino sports investment segment. We like to go around the country, talk to different handicappers, get their opinions on different things going on in the world of sports. And today, Jeff Sheesby is going to join us. Oldmanwhobets.com is the website. You can follow him on Twitter at oldmanwhobets, and he also writes for 1:37 p.m. Let's bring him aboard. Jeff, good afternoon, my man. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, man. Merry Christmas. What's going on?
Merry Christmas, my brother. Now, I'm trying to figure this out, brother, okay? You got to help me here, okay? Because I know the wise guys know way more than we ever will. I know they build these big, beautiful castles in Vegas because I visit them, and the bastards make it so big that I need a car just to get the hell out of the damn place. So I get all of that, all right? Now, how in the hell are the Hurricanes favored by 7 against La Tech? And this is coming from a South Florida radio show, a guy that's been here for 53 years, born and raised. I love the Canes. I don't believe they could give anybody 7 points. What do they know that we don't know, Jeff? Please, help me.
Yeah, that is such a tough one with Miami here. I think it's one of those spots where Miami is trying to get back on the map, really establish themselves as that elite program that all the fanfare that we loved in the 90s. I think they've been super inconsistent all year. La Tech, they're looking for their 10th win this season, keeping their bowl streak alive. So I think it will be pretty competitive. This is honestly going to be a no play for me because I think the line is kind of where it should be. I would say it does have a little bit of strength towards Miami. So hoping this young squad, new coach, proving himself, would be able to bring it home and then provide us with at least a ton of entertainment today on a day that's a little light on sports.
Are you? So who you going with here? You're going with the Canes? You're going to lay the 7?
I think I would. I think I'd go with the Canes. Haven't locked it in yet, but as the afternoon progresses here, I think that's again where I'd be leaning.
Okay. All right. So Jeff Sheesby is going to go with the Canes. Oldmanwhobets.com. All right. Speaking of old man who bets, is LeBron looking a little old finally?
Yeah. I mean, that growing gave out last night. Fantastic game. Thankfully, was on the Clippers +2 on that one. Gave me a little bit of a scare when they were up 1 with 3 minutes to go in the half, and then come into the half down 12, nice 15-0 run. But this Lakers team is great. I think the NBA product itself is the best we've had in quite some time in terms of parity. I'm hoping that LeBron's injury obviously isn't too serious. I would love to get it back on the court, and I think this playoff is going to be just outrageous. Hard to go against the Clippers with Kawhi, but even the Celtics was pretty good last night on the East Coast. So let's hope that LeBron's not hurt for too long. Let's hope that he can play in the league until his son's in the league for the first time ever, as I am certainly a pro LeBron guy.
Well, so let me ask you, are you giving the Lakers the nod here or the Clippers? Because the way I look at it, I see two at least better in shape stars. They're healthier, they're younger, and a better supporting cast on the Clippers side. And I'm wondering if it was smart on LeBron's part to go all balls out from the get-go, from the beginning of the season. Maybe he should have been pacing himself like the guys with the Clippers.
Yeah, I think load management is certainly a hot topic right now. Fans hate it because all the marquee matchups then kind of become G League scrimmages. But it definitely makes sense. To play in that many games, obviously the body's going to break down. I think LeBron historically has been pretty good about load management, and I think less so this year than, especially like Kawhi, who's out every other game. But I agree with you. I think Clippers is going to be one of the teams to beat in the West. I think it's a great spot because the public loves the Lakers. I mean, how could you not? It's LA, the flashier team. Kobe, Shaq, all the greats, came through there. You got LeBron, you got AD, you got a stacked lineup there. Everybody loves Rondo. I think almost the dark side is the Clippers, not dissimilar to the scenario that Kawhi was in last year, where he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He knows how good he is. He's just quiet. He just plays the game of basketball. So, similar to last night where they came out, of course, it was a revenge game for the Lakers. The Clippers weren't going to be able to do it twice this season. What do? They come out, they play a gritty game of runs, and smack the Lakers in the face. So I'm definitely with you on that one, looking towards the Clippers to make some serious noise. Would love to see Kawhi go back-to-back.
All right, so let's get into some of the national championship games. Clemson -2, Ohio State 63.5 right now is the over and under. How are you looking at this one?
Definitely leaning towards the over there. I think that line is super high. Both of these teams score religiously. Going to be an incredible game. I think Clemson honestly isn't getting as much respect as they should be. But nonetheless, I definitely would lean towards the over here just because that high line. I think these teams are going to score early and often.
Are you looking at it right now because Trevor Lawrence is playing really, really well and he kind of closed out the season really strong?
Yeah, I mean, that guy just, he flicks his wrist and it's a touchdown to wherever he needs to go. Combo that with the wonderful haircut and certainly a player that I can support.
It's like every guy on the planet wishes they were Trevor Lawrence, right? Because that guy's got women like lined up outside his dorm 24 hours a day, and all he has to do is just wave one in and then just, switch up 10 minutes later if he wants to, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have not been fortunate enough to be able to just quite literally say hello, and the deal is closed. And he doesn't even need to do that. He waves his, nods his head, or just the wind picks up his hair at the right moment, and he's got another quite literally touchdown. So I can't even imagine the life that guy's living.
All right, so you and I like Clemson in this one, but how about the over and under, the 63.5? Are you touching that?
Not touching it currently. Thankfully, we got some time before that game. I would love to see kind of where that line moves. Just off the start at 63.5. I do think that is a pretty high line. Really think the Joe Public's point of view necessarily is you see a high line. Oh, it can't necessarily. We'll never get that high. But I say if it's high, go higher. If it's low, go lower. Just as a general rule of thumb, of course, exceptions to every rule. But right now, if you had a gun to my head and said make a choice, I would go over.
Over. Wow. Okay. I thought you were going to go under, Jeff, because I kind of like the under right now with those defenses. But, all right, over on that one. Jeff Sheesby, by the way, you can follow him on Twitter at OldManWhoBets and go to the website, oldmanwhobets.com. Moving over to Oklahoma and LSU. Dude, this number is fat right now. LSU is up by 13.5. We know Oklahoma doesn't play defense, so what do you think about this? And I think Oklahoma's having issues. Isn't it their defensive end, right? I think their best pass rushers
suspended,
also. Yeah, so that's going to be a real problem, and Joe Burrow's going to love that.
Yeah, I think LSU probably feasts in this one. You said it, Oklahoma plays no defense. LSU has just looked quite literally unstoppable. With injuries and no defense, I think that's tough to, match up in a national championship game. Obviously fine all season to be beating teams down. It's college football after all. But, when push comes to shove in these final three games here, you need to be a complete package. I don't see, Oklahoma putting up that many points, if you will. I think ultimately the 13.5, obviously huge, strong line there. Probably too big for me to touch, especially in a game of this magnitude. But, I think I would definitely lean LSU. What were you thinking?
Okay. And so the over and under for you is too much right now, right, is what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure. Probably lean over in that as well. But I need to go a little bit deeper on just historical bowl trends, especially looking at a juggernaut versus only an offensive juggernaut and seeing kind of where that has landed. But should be an interesting one and hopefully a fantastic game.
So give me, Jeff, is there a bowl game that you're looking forward to right now that you think, hey, the wise guys didn't get this one right? I love this.
Yeah, great question. Not specifically on the wise guy side of things. At this point, I'm looking forward to literally every bowl game. It's kind of that interesting period where, post-Christmas, pre-holiday works a little bit slower than usual. 4 o'clock games are easily accessible. So love this Miami game coming into it. I also like, just going kind of day by day here. We got Pitt and EMU tonight. I think it's a good spot for Pitt as well. Probably the under there. And then certainly as this week goes on, let's communicate on Twitter and, figure out where we're landing.
Well, for Pitt, are you laying the 11.5, 12.5? Because it all depends on what you get it. Because I've seen it at 11.5 and 12.5 today against Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, I think the 11.5 and 12.5 is fine. Obviously it's over 10, one of those key numbers. So I don't necessarily think it's going to matter there. There has been pretty solid value taking money line underdogs historically in college football bowl games. If you were to blindly take all of them, I believe you'd be up about 20 units in 2005 for the Action Network, something along those lines. So I think if you're looking for, kind of a nice contrarian play, is taking these big underdogs and hammering them, money line. I think it's interesting because most of these teams have no common opponents. A lot of times hard to gauge kind of motivation. I think Miami is one of the biggest X factors there, when they come in playing kind of a no-name school. Will they show up? Do they care about this game? Is the turnover chain ready? So it should be interesting. I think a great game, a great slate of football today.
Let me ask you something, Jeff. We'll wrap it up with this. I actually like the over in the Pitt Eastern Michigan game. How about you? Because it's 49, I think.
Yeah, 49. I thought that was a little low, especially for these bowl games. You see these touching 65 plus. So I was leaning towards the under. More just a line read than anything else. Haven't gone as deep as I would like on offensive and defensive efficiency numbers just yet. What are you looking at on the over?
No, it's 49. That's why I think the Eastern Michigan isn't really going to stop Pitt in this one. I think Pitt's going to score a lot of points in this one. And Eastern Michigan will score a few, but I think they'll get over 50 combined right now. I really do.
Yeah, especially in these bowl games where teams are taking risks. I think it's one of those things where, this line might come down to an ill-advised 4th and 2 on the 40 or, something or 4th and 2 on even the 10, and then all of a sudden you get a nice 90-yard drive the other way, which just totally kills totals. But that is kind of the definition of a coin flip. Obviously, if they get that conversion, then the over is cruising. If they don't, and they just wasted 5-6 minutes off the clock with another team that has terrible field position. So, again, I would lean on the under on this one just because I think it's low. When it's low, I go lower generally,
okay.
But not locked in just yet.
Jeff Sheesby, man. Follow him on Twitter at OldManWhoBets. And, of course, go to the website, oldmanwhobets.com. Jeff, thank you for taking some time, my man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me.
You got it, baby. There you go. Jeff Sheesby on our Hialeah Park Casino sports investment segment. We will do it every Thursday. Oh, not just during football season, all year long. We're going to be doing our sports investment segment. And, hey, man, this is kind of part of sports talk nowadays. And I got to tell you something. Jeff and I are going to disagree on this one. I like the over. I think Pittsburgh is going to rout the crap out of Eastern Michigan. Pittsburgh's a decent team. I think they're going to put up some serious points. I think they're going to put up 35 just by themselves.
They played good ball this year.
Yeah. So they're 7-5. They're trying to end 8-5. They're favored by 12.5. I like the over more than even laying the points. But I agree with Jeff. I would lay the points. Now, it is interesting because Jeff and I disagree on the UM game. He's willing to lay the points. I am not willing to lay the points. I have no faith whatsoever in the Hurricanes and in Manny. None.
When the line moves with more points for the Canes, that means there's money coming in on Louisiana Tech.
No,
to
Miami.
Shift.
No, isn't it? If it's gone up?
No, it's to shift. Because if people are betting Miami, they would bring the line
down.
Yes.
And it's gone up. That's what I'm saying. The money's coming in on Miami. It was 6.5. It's 7. That means the money's coming in on Miami.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying.
To give Louisiana more.
Yes.
To counterbalance.
Yes, that's what
the lines are set.
I gotta say, I disagree. I'm not trying to be a hater or nothing. Sometimes people tend to not handle an opinion that's against their favorite team, and they think it's hating, and it's not hating.
It's just fact.
I don't trust them, man.
How could you trust them? They've had how many weeks off? We've seen every time they have 2 weeks off,
And
they lay an egg.
And I trust La Tech more at this point, which is crazy to think that, but that's the case.
The other thing about the line, and this is a fact, the line is put out to generate bet interest. It ain't about
Right.
what they it's about for them to
Right.
get action.
They got to find a middle ground.
Now, once the line starts and it starts going, then they counter to kind of balance the betting
course.
because they just, if every place could have their way, what they would do, 50% on this side, 50% on that side, and I got the VIG.
I think
I'm getting my
I
10%.
think
That's what they
there's
want.
still too many people out there that are giving the Canes respect that they don't deserve.
Based on this year's performance,
Based
every
on
game, it's
20 years of performance.
well, no. I'm talking about based on this
No, but
season's
I'm just
performance.
saying.
There's absolutely no excuse and no reason to give them any credit at all.
I'm just saying
At all.
that there's no respect for them the last 15 years. They've been a pathetic program for 15 years. I'm sorry. What? We're going to live off that Notre Dame moment? I mean, give me a break, dude. The sun shines on every dog's ass every once in a while. They've been a joke of a program for 15 years. And this year, it's been a couple times that there's been a big line, and I'm like, who the hell are you to give them any kind of points? And I just feel that way about the Canes. I may be completely wrong, and tomorrow I'll take the mic and I'll have egg on my face. It's really, really crazy.
No, but
the
seriously.
Canes really bounced back and played well and all that good stuff. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see
No,
it.
based on what they've done this season, having extra time has not helped them in any way. They've had way more extra time. Plus, like you said, starters walking away to not play.
Yeah.
On top of being in their backyard. From what we've seen from the Florida game all the way through the whole season, yeah, there's absolutely no reason to think that Miami's going to even win this game outright.
Myron says, I don't trust Manny and the whole coaching staff. Plus, I don't think players respect Manny. That's my opinion. Well, they haven't played like they respect Manny. Not even the defense plays like it respects Manny. Okay, the first week that he said, I'm going to get involved, it happened. And then after that, there's been all kinds of lulls and mistakes and breakdowns from his defense. They've not. They wouldn't be 6-6 if they really responded to Manny. If they respond to Manny, you don't lose to FIU. If they respond to Manny, you don't lose to Georgia Tech. It's just the way it is. Army Kane says, Big O, what are your thoughts on the Canes today? Do you see a prepared team? Well, we've been talking about that now, Army Kane, that I don't expect a prepared team because that's been the MO of the Canes this year. 3 bye weeks and 3 terrible starts to their games and unprepared. So I am expecting them to be unprepared again. Why would I can't expect them to be prepared. They've never shown that under Manny. See, I'm at a point now with Manny where I'm wrong. I thought he was the right guy. And now he has to prove to me that all of us that we thought you were the right guy, that we're right about it. But right now, there is no way any of us could have any kind of confidence, any kind of belief that Manny's the guy. Now, do I want to give him another chance? Of course, I'm not up for firing Manny or anything like that. I want to see him come back next year, and I want to see what he does. I want to see if he can actually, turn this thing around. He deserves that opportunity, but I'm not going to sit here and BS you and tell you, he's definitely the guy. No, I can't tell you that. No way. No way. There's nothing. I have no examples. I can give you example after example after example of why Brian Flores has shown us that he possibly is the guy. But I can show you example after example that says Manny isn't the guy. That's all. And I'm not saying that Flores has arrived either. I need to see one more year of Flores. Just like I'm saying, while Manny has completely failed this year, he's been terrible, he deserves another year to prove to us that this was an aberration. This is not who he is. I hope that's the case. I really do. But right now, it's hard to even think that. It's impossible to think that right now. The only thing you can think right now is, holy crap, the Canes hired the wrong guy again. And this sucks. That's the only way you can think about this situation here. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can always reach out to us there. And, of course, on Twitter, at Big O Show. Old Man Who Bets, by the way, says, great chatting with Big O. Thanks for having me on. Discuss a few leans. Miami, Pitt, EMU under, Clemson, OSU over, and LSU to the bank. Great day for a great day, he says. There you go. Nice job by the Old Man Who Bets. I like it. Old Man Who Bets. We'll get him on again. Drewbo says, I better not hear from Manny if they lose about everything is under review. His ass is under review. Remember, it's a rebuild. Now, come on, guys. This is a rebuild. When he did that, come on, guys. It's a rebuild. I swear to you, I thought Fletch. Come on, guys. It's all ball bearings nowadays. That's exactly what I thought when Manny did that on me. I was like, whoa, he's pulling a Fletch on my ass here. Come on, you guys know it's a rebuild. It's all ball bearings. Young folks are like, what the hell is he talking about? What the hell is that reference? Anyway, so we'll find out if Manny and the boys can get it done. We're going to hear from Brian Flores, the head coach of your Miami Dolphins. Let's hear from the head coach. He addressed the media today, and it's Thursday. We're a couple days away from the New England Patriots game, and yesterday was Christmas. Let's find out what the head coach has to say.
Long run, and Dino stuck me in there and said, "Go make a tackle." So it's something that it's a phase of the game that I love. I think it's my time as an assistant under Scott O'Brien was invaluable to me. I think there's those 6 phases, field goal block, punt return, kickoff return. There's plays to be made in all of those phases. We're going up against an opponent who, they do a really good job in the kicking game. They try to apply pressure in all those phases. And it's definitely a place where, I feel like we can make a lot of improvement. And, if we play well in that phase, I think it's a real advantage.
That where a guy first gains your attention?
Excuse me?
It's the kicking game where a young player can...
Yeah, if you want to impress me, you do it in the kicking game. It's something I've said since day one here to, anyone who sits in those meeting rooms. So, quarterbacks who can hold, running backs who can, cover kicks, receivers who can, block in a return game, defensive players who can, block on punt and then, run down and make a tackle, guys who, from a ball security standpoint, can return, kick off, punt returns. All of it is very valuable. And, I think people take it for granted at times. Until it doesn't work out in a game. So, it's very important to me. I think it's, a phase in the game that, we'll continue to harp on and, try to play it well now. We got a great challenge this week. I would say this is one of the best, kicking game units in the league. They're well coached. They're tough. They're physical. Schematically, they do a lot of different things. They pose some issues. They try to apply pressure really in all phases. So, it'll be a big test.
On a personal level, what's it going to be like returning to Gillette, a place you know very well? Have you ever been in the visitors' locker room? Are you going to have to mentally say, "No, I got to turn left instead of turning right," all that kind of stuff?
I know my way around that place. So yeah, I'll be all right. I'll figure it out. Look, it's a road game against a road game in a tough environment against a good football team. It'll be a great challenge for us. As far as the history, my personal history there, it's one of those things that, right now, I'm the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. That's, where my focus is going to be Sunday at 1 o'clock. And, there's a lot of, relationships and, friendships I have there. Again, those go far beyond, football. But, I'll be ready to compete on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
So what does it say about a player like Christian Wilkins that he wants to run on the field and celebrate with teammates after touchdown, or even kicking Jason Sanders when he kicks a field goal?
It just says he's a team guy, which we knew that when we drafted him. He's selfless. He understands the different roles and the different how important each guy's role is. He doesn't have the. He's selfless, He's a team guy, and I think we got a lot of guys like that on this team who really appreciate the hard work everybody in that locker room puts into each week, into each practice, into each meeting, and I think he should celebrate it. And I tell those guys that all the time. I mean, we work hard. When we make a good play, we should celebrate. Nothing crazy, but as long as we don't get a penalty, I'm good. But we should celebrate good plays.
Well, it's a lot that, tough, smart, physical discipline is what you want from your players. Yeah. I was curious that if there's a situation where a player's talented enough but may not have one of those qualities, would you still take on that player, or if they don't have those four, they're out for you?
Talented but not tough?
One of those four. They're not talented but not tough, they're talented but not physical, talented but not smart, or talented but not disciplined. Like if they don't have one of the four, are they out for you, or can you, are there exceptions?
Case by case. Yeah. I think it's really case by case. To me, those are talented football player that's not tough is, that's almost an oxymoron to me. So, it's case by case. So, it's a tough question. I guess I'd have probably a longer answer would be here for, I'm sure we got some, I'm sure you got a couple, for instances for me. But I think it's a longer conversation, but I do think it's case by case. But yeah, I'm looking for, those qualities and, every one of my players. Not everyone has every one. I realize that each player's, their own individual person and has different qualities, and, they're probably, stronger in one area than in another. I understand that, and some instances, some guys are tougher, some guys are smarter, some guys are more physical, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it's case by case. I'm not writing anybody off for being deficient in any one area. I need my guys to be tough, though.
And this is a year probably like you've never experienced this for us as well, but I'm sure there are going to be moments, stories from the season you're going to look back on and kind of smile about. Is there one or two maybe moments from the season, either during a game or in practice, that you'll kind of cherish?
I mean, I'll reflect on the season, I guess after the season. Right now we got a major challenge ahead of us. It's a very well-coached, tough, physical team in New England, really in all three, phases, offense, defense, and special teams. That's where most of my, really all of my attention is right now. I could sit and try to think about one, but then my mind goes to the 4 block punts that they've got on the season, or, Edelman on third down, or, the variety of games they run on the front. So, even when I try to go there, something else pops into my mind, which is, has something to do with, a situation where they're doing something that could pose problems to us. So, maybe that's next week. question. I'm sorry.
Brian, did Tay Hayes show you something Sunday which intrigued you guys, made you want to see more? And do you feel good about, you've developed young corners, you, Patrick, Josh, do you feel like you have some young guys that can be developed moving further and might turn into something long-term?
I think Tay, jumped right in, played a significant amount of snaps last week, and made a few plays. Was competitive on most of the coverage. I thought he tackled well. So it's a good start. I think we need to build on that. Practice meetings, walkthroughs, and hopefully duplicate, that type of performance again. That'll be hard against a good receiving core and obviously a great quarterback, and not an easy thing. But he's off to a good start. As far as the corner position, I think Patrick, Josh, they do a great job as far as developing young players, and it takes time, but every play, every game is an experience for those guys, and I think those guys do a good job. So
there you go. That's the head coach of your Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores. A couple things that I thought were pretty interesting in this conversation of the press conference, talking about the kicking game. And how he mentioned how if you want to impress me, you do it in the kicking game. And one of the reasons why he brings that up, let me explain to you. Jimmy Johnson, years ago, what people don't realize is his first few years, Zach Thomas was on special teams. Starting middle linebacker, but was on special teams, I think the first 2 years of his career. As a starting middle linebacker, and doing special teams work. Jason Taylor, I believe it was either 2 or 3 of his first years in the NFL. He was your starting defensive end, but he was also starting on special teams. And people used to ask Jimmy all the time, why do you do that? And he used to say, I want my best players on special teams. I take special teams as seriously as I do offense and defense. Because guys like Jimmy, guys like Bill Belichick, they believe they can win the game on that third phase. And why you want players. And one of the reasons why he said, you want to impress me, do it in the kicking game. Do you know why he says that? Let me explain. The coach knows already that you can catch and you can run and you've got vision and that you can tackle and that you're a football player, because you show it on offense and you show it on defense all the time, right? But you're really not groomed overall, most guys. There are guys that are specialists, and they've been that their entire careers, the kicker and the punter, and then there's a few of those guys that are like returners or something that they're just specialty guys. It's only a couple of those kind of guys. You draft an Eric Metcalf or something, and he's going to help you as a running back, but he's really there more to be a returner. And the same thing with, what's the name of this kid we had here at the University of Miami and Chicago Bears? Your boy.
Devin Hester. That didn't know where to line up most of the time.
Yeah, you couldn't put Devin Hester as a DB. As fast as he was useless as a DB. Think about it. As fast as Devin Hester was, he sucked as a defensive back. Okay? So, but there's very few of those guys because Hester was so special that we know he's a negative in all these other areas, but he helps us out as a returner that we've got to use him. Well, the coach knows that you can tackle and you can run and you can do all the other things that you do. But if you do it on special teams, now he knows you're versatile. Now he knows you're more valuable to the team. Because he sees you as a guard and you're opening up holes and all that. Okay, but can you get out there on special teams and make the right blocks to spring the guy? I know you're a defensive back. I get it. But how are you as a flyer? Do you have the knack to get downfield and find the football? These are all things, and that's why the focus of the special teams is so important for certain guys. And where did Flores grow up with? He grew up with Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick believes strongly on special teams. And I saw that burning desire from Jimmy. Jimmy coached up special teams, man, like he coached up offense and defense. It wasn't like, that's not that important. No. It was so important that he would have his best players on it. He wasn't going to cheat himself or his team and say, well, this linebacker is pretty good on special teams. Zach is great, but I'm going to play the guy that's pretty good because I want to preserve Zach. Oh, dude, he wanted to win on special teams. So I'm playing Zach, and I'm playing Jason Taylor, and I'm playing anybody and everybody that can play special teams. And when we start talking about draft this year, some of the things that we're going to look at on players is going to be versatility. When I'm talking to scouts and when I'm talking to players and all that stuff, I'm going to try to find out about their versatility. Because if we find out players don't have versatility, how do you think they fall on the priority scale of the Miami Dolphins when it comes to the draft? That's right, pretty low. If both guys are terrific receivers, but then this guy's a little better flyer, guess who's going to become a little bit better priority for the Miami Dolphins? Because you can only activate 45 out of 53, correct? You have to have the most versatile 45 that you can. And if you have guys that are strictly specialists, that takes away from your roster. Because there's a guy that's standing on the sidelines that cannot help you as a football player because he's a specialist. And then vice versa. If there's a guy that's just a football player and can't help you out on special teams, well, then that guy better be super special. Because if not, he's going to fall down on the priority list. They kind of tell you what they want in players. And you see it in guys. And you're watching it now with the Dolphins. And that's why these questions are being asked. But at the same time, I wanted to kind of shed light on what the coach is saying when he talks about, you want to impress me, do it in the kicking game. And that's what he means. Because if you impress me in the kicking game, you're already here because you impressed me as a football player on offense or defense. Now you're showing me you can play a second phase to the game. And he's going to like, that's going to get a dude like Flores sexually aroused. Okay? That's how twisted those guys are. All right? Flores also talks about knowing that Bill, Bill takes the special team side serious and the challenge. And then you see also his priority when he tells you want to impress me, do it in the kicking game. That's why even Flores kind of gets excited about this matchup because he gets to match wits against his mentor. He knows how much his mentor takes special teams seriously. And in turn, he does the same thing because he wants some of the same things out of his football team. I find that to be really interesting and a really cool part of that conversation and the press conference. And then I think it was Cameron Wolfe, I believe it was Cameron Wolfe that was asking this question about talented and smart, tough and physical, the traits that they look for. But then he was looking for, well, what if a guy is talented but not tough? And Flores kind of countered with, well, if he's talented and not tough, that's kind of an oxymoron. Although there have been those guys that are talented and they're not tough. I've seen that myself, actually, in this league. But if you start talking about the traits of talented, smart, tough, physical, that's exactly what you asked for in the Patriots. That's exactly what you asked for when you want now a new Miami Dolphin, because that's what Flores is going to want. Now, he left it as a case-to-case basis, And I agree with him, but I think he didn't want to go all the way. Where I believe him that it would be on a case-to-case basis, but I think that's only to a certain extent. I don't think he wants a guy that's talented and not tough. I don't think he wants a talented guy that's not physical. I certainly don't think he wants a guy that's talented but not smart. So I don't. He left it like a case-to-case basis, but I think there are certain criteria that you have to meet in order to play for this man. And by Cameron bringing up those traits that I think has been mentioned in the past, I think these are traits that have to have on all his players. I think if you lack toughness, you're going to have a problem with Flores. I think if you're not physical, I think you're going to have a problem with Flores. I think if you're not smart, you're certainly going to have a problem with Flores. And talented, well, that's, I think most coaches in the NFL, it's all about talent. You got to have talent. I mean, how in the hell are you going to make it? How are you going to survive? You know what I'm saying? By the way, the program is proudly brought to you by the place we'll be at tomorrow morning at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. And right now we got 2019 models, the ILX. It's $189, folks. TLX, 2020 models now. $209, RDX $309, MDX $339, only $29.99 do it signing plus tax tag and registration, folks. And you can also check out the fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles. But what you're going to love, I've been telling you for years about this, is the sales staff. They are absolutely amazing. They're very informative. They're courteous. They will listen to you, and they're out to make you happy. That's what they're not trying to make themselves happy with some commission checker. No, they're trying to make you happy, because then they know you're going to be back to lease another car, to buy another car. They're going to tell your friends, your family members, and that's why the reputation is second to none. That's why they're a top 5 dealership in the country. Get on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we're back. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. And the show proudly brought to you by a place where you can get a great rack. Don't you want a great rack? I love great racks. I mean, great racks look really, really hot. I'm telling you. And that's why you got to go to Pallet Rack City. Go see Eddie Pereira, your one-stop shop for all those warehouse needs, baby. They sell the pallet jacks, the hand trucks, the dock boards, and most packaging supplies. They also sell used forklifts and dock equipment and the largest used racking inventory in South Florida. They buy and sell new and used pallet racking. You want great racks? Go call Eddie Pereira. 305-887-9212. Save it on that cell phone. Your business is going to look so much better with some great racks. 305-887-9212 for Pallet Rack City. Love it. All right. So we take you till about 3 o'clock. We got a loaded show for you, man. Matt Shodell is going to join us at the top of the hour from Kane Sport. We'll get his thoughts on this. I still don't understand how the Canes are favored by 7. Telling you, Take a Lot Tech. I don't want to bet against them to root against them, but I'm just telling you, I think the Canes are going to lose this game. I really do. I don't have any hope whatsoever for the Canes. And I certainly don't think they're going to beat them by 8 points.
Have you looked at what the weather's like over there by chance?
I'm sure it's cold, but I don't think it's freezing or anything, but what?
Yeah, it's usually at this time of the year, it's cold and like damp, right?
Okay. I don't know what it is, but I could see
all
cold.
The swamps, and so I remember being in New Orleans.
No, I know
it's got that damp, wet.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't know if it's a damp or wet day today. I don't know. You're trying to guess a weather that you don't even know what it is.
Well, we're talking about betting, man. You know,
Might
it's a
be
good
sunny.
idea to know what the weather's like.
You know what? I would go with you on that if we were talking about a legitimate football team with a legitimate coaching staff. But we're not talking about
Did you
that.
just say that? Wow.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. The University of Miami football team is not a legitimate football team, and that coaching staff is not legit either. And until they prove it, they're not legit. They're a joke. So they would lose on ice, in mud, in grass. I just think they're a bad football team, and they're poorly coached. That's all. I love the U, but they're irrelevant, and they're a joke. What do you want me to tell you? What can I say? Nico says, good afternoon, if the Canes lose badly after a 2-week layoff, how bad are they going to lose after 4 weeks of a layoff? Yeah, it's gonna be bad, dude. It's gonna be bad. I have no hope for them. So that's all I can tell you. I'd love to tell you that I'm inspired to look forward to this game, but I fear the hell out of this game. I fear that in the fourth quarter, I'm going to be all frustrated about it. And then to add to the frustrations, I'm going to say, why didn't you bet the game? So at least you can win some money off of this. You knew they were going to lose. You knew they couldn't cover. They need your money. They want your money so you can make more money, and you didn't do it.
To kind of compensate for the loss. You win some money, you feel good.
Yeah, exactly. I should bet against the Canes today just so I can at least make some money at the end. And say, yeah, they lost, but, hey, they lost and made me money. But I can't do it. I can't do it. But for those of you that are ruthless, for those of you that don't care, Take La Tech plus 7, man. I'm telling you. It's the move to make right now. La Tech plus 7. You'll get it done. You'll feel good about it. Because I just, really. How about you? You bet against the Canes? You're going to do it? Would you do it?
If I had the money to bet and to put it down, I would probably bet Louisiana Tech.
Plus 7, right?
Look, how many times have we had 2 weeks? Has it been 3 times we've had 2 weeks? And I don't know of any coaching staff that is ever done badly with 3 2-week preparation weeks for the team. And it's like, and it wasn't like we were playing juggernaut teams. That was what, Duke, Central Michigan, and what was the other one? Was it Florida State?
Yeah.
I mean, I look, to have extra time, to not be a benefit, I don't know, but yeah, you got to think it would totally be counterproductive.
I'm getting the updated lines now for the NBA tonight, so I can actually make my picks here in the NBA. I'm looking forward to it now. I need to have a big night tonight. It's time to have and bounce back big tonight. Strong.
Of all the sports betting, Vegas, them guys, the basketball lines and how they usually come within a point or two of every line with the number of offensive possessions per game and it is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, whatever.
And it truly shows.
That algorithm they have, whatever.
They are just unbelievable, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. Rick Raspel says, based on roster talent, it should be more than 7 points. However, we are known to play down to our competition to make things worse. These players are not pumped for this bowl game. True. But Diaz is the ultimate disadvantage right now. What are you gonna do?
You know,
and I listen. Play down. It's not. La Tech is not bad, dude. They're going for their 10th win. You know? Come on. Give me a break.
And you're at their place. There's going to be adversity from the crowd and everything. But, you know, you think about how Diaz started out the season and all rah-rah and tradition and everything like that. And then we actually got going into the season and whatnot. And at the end of the season, what I'm going to remember is all the rah-rah and we're getting back to tradition and everything and how badly it failed. At no point did this team look like Miami Hurricanes.
Oh, no, it's been a disaster.
And like you said, him being defense and the defense failing us at the end of the Virginia Tech game, letting them go down the field. The Duke game, letting them go. North Carolina letting them come down the field and score. That is a bigger indictment than anything else. Him being the defensive coach and those 3 games, letting those teams go down the field, score and win on you, on your defense.
Nico says, taking your advice, betting La Tech. All right, but if you lose your house, Nico, don't blame me. You lose your car, can't pay rent, whatever it is, don't be betting that kind of craziness, okay? So just telling you. But I do like La Tech in this game. I would. That's what I would bet. You know, I have plenty of action. We got the NBA lines now. Pistons are favored by 7 against the Wizards. The over and under is 229. Nets are favored by 7 over the Knicks. The over and under is 224. By the way, Frank Isola just had a great tweet. I gotta pull it up because it's too funny. I retweeted it because it was hilarious. He found out something about the Knicks, that it's so Knicks, but it's kind of like what they want to do. It says, let me see, where is it here? Here it goes. This is an interesting story, an interesting theory from BOTP. The Knicks' dream plan is to find someone so miserable that they'd be open to forcing a trade. Wait for it, the Knicks. Brilliant. It says, in a dream scenario, the Knicks according to the source, envisioned being in a good position to make a blockbuster trade for a star player who grew disgruntled with his current situation. There you go. Which is like what a lot of teams already do as it is. They look for the guys disgruntled and wants out. But if you're disgruntled and want out, why would you want to go to the Knicks? Unless you're just going to get paid. If you're like Dion Waiters. Hey, by the way, Dion Waiters is disgruntled. Why not trade him to the Knicks? I mean, come on. The Knicks should be able to believe that he'll be, he'll turn his life around and his career, and he's headed for greatness and all that good stuff.
Would you have to pay any of the contract for the Knicks to entice them to take him?
They don't do that in the NBA.
Oh, you can't. It isn't like baseball and what you can't.
No. You have to trade the salary.
When you get him, it's all on you.
You trade the salary. So he's untradeable, dude. That was just a joke for me to go off. There's no way that nobody wants to trade for that clown at this point. Not even the Knicks, which, I mean, if Dion Waiters ever really wanted an indictment on where his life is as a professional, not even the Knicks will trade for you. Okay? No one's trading for you, not even the Knicks. All right? That right there you should be able to look in the mirror of your Dion and go, wow, man, my life is really bad now. But the good thing is he is going to get paid about another $24 million, with this year and next year. So I guess life isn't that bad when you're Dion, because really you're not about being a professional. You don't really care about your career. You just care about the bottom line. You got your money. And it was so obvious that he wanted to get paid. And the Heat still fell for it. It really is amazing. I to this day, I still cannot believe some of these deals. Well, crazy. What can I tell you? Matt Shodell is going to join us at the top of the hour from Kane Sport. Matt, by the way, is very fortunate. He didn't have to go to Shreveport. So he's here in Miami,
He loses out on a chance to meet Bruce Lee, man.
Yeah, it's true, actually. You know what? That's actually, that in itself right there is worth it. Probably worth the trip to Shreveport just to go meet Bruce Lee at a Sonics. I mean, that would be phenomenal. For those of you that don't know the story, about whenever it was the Super Bowl in Dallas, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it was, I drove from Mobile to Dallas. And Brandon was my producer back then, Brandon Rodriguez. And Brandon was hungry. And he goes, hey, man, let's stop at the Sonics. So I said, all right, cool, let's go. Let's stop at Sonics, get something to eat on the way. We stop in Sonics, and we order our food. When we pull up to the window, there's a dude that's there to take our money. It's an Asian guy. And his name tag says Bruce Lee. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I run into an Asian dude named Bruce Lee. Okay? I mean, if I'm in San Fran or Seattle, where there's a, large Asian population, you would figure, okay, it's still pretty amazing to run into a dude named Bruce Lee that's Asian. Okay, that's awesome. But in Shreveport? Come on, man. You're not supposed to run into an Asian dude or a Cuban dude in Shreveport. What the hell's wrong with it? It's a Cuban dude seeing an Asian dude in Shreveport. That's crazy. Now that
odds are slim and none.
Yeah, none went out the door too. None's gone, or Slim's gone. I'm sorry, Slim's gone out the door. It's none, and yet it happened once in Shreveport. A Cuban guy spotted an Asian guy named Bruce Lee. That, my friends, is pretty awesome right there. Alman 241 says, when Waiters hits 40, his career is long over. He will have regrets over his career. Maybe, maybe not, but he just seems like the knucklehead that doesn't care. He just probably cares. It's like Melo. Melo can have all the little regrets he has now, but in the end, dude, you wanted your money. You never were about winning. All right, we got 2 hours down already. It's amazing how quickly it's gone. Matt Shodell is going to join us at 1. Jake Rowe is going to join us at 2. He works for at 1:30. I'm sorry. He works for 247 Sports. He covers the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll talk Jake Fromm with him. At 2 o'clock, Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald for our Inter-Miami report. Is there a coach? Are there players headed here? What is the latest with Inter? We'll find out with Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald and our buddy David Dwork, the man that knows how to cook the perfect roast. And he, of course, covers the Panthers, who have gotten roasted lately. He will join us at 2:30, so we can talk a little Panthers there. Let's take a break right now. Let's get ready for a little Matt Shodell. But before we talk about Matt Shodell, let me tell you about Hialeah Park, because the National Horse Players Championship is coming to South Florida. The qualifier is coming to Hialeah Park, folks. And if you want to win a trip to Vegas and a seat in the NHC and a shot to win $5,000 over at Hialeah Park, they're giving away $10,000, $5,000 to first place, $2,500 to second place, $1,500 to third place, and $1,000 in fourth place. That's amazing, folks. And you got to get on down there. January 12th on Sunday is the National Horse Players Championship. Bill and I are going to be broadcasting live that Sunday out there. We're going to be talking to some of the folks out there participating in this. So get on down there. Find out at Hialeah Park. Go to HialeahPark.com or HialeahParkCasino.com so you can enter. We'll see you January 12th for the National Horse Players Championship qualifier coming to Hialeah Park.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we're going to get Matt Shodell on right now for you. We'll talk to Matt. Got Canes getting ready to take on La Tech this afternoon at 4 o'clock. And we'll have a little fun, and we'll watch the game. Will it be any good? I don't know. We'll see, man. I'm afraid of that game. I am so fearful. I mean, why wouldn't you be fearful? The Canes have been off for weeks. That's never a good thing. It's like NFL players that have dead time. It's not good for some of them. They get arrested. The Canes aren't very good with off time either. They just don't know how to prepare for off time. But maybe this man here has all the answers. Matt Shodell, baby, of course, from Canes Sport. You can follow him on Twitter at Canes Sport. Catch the work there at Canes Sport, as always. Excellent coverage of your Miami Hurricanes. Matt, good afternoon, my friend, and you must be happy that you're in South Florida and not Shreveport.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I can remember that we haven't actually covered a bowl game, but, you know, they didn't give us any availability to a practice before they left. They weren't going to give us an availability at the game, and just to go there for this game and just this game. Yeah. I mean, we were like, really? Like, let's send a message to Miami. It's ridiculous. Like, either open practices up to the media like they usually are, or playing a better bowl game, like, or both. Better yet, both. I mean, even my newspaper friends aren't going up till I think that some of them went up yesterday. I think somebody got up this morning, but like even they didn't go up for bowl week, which is unheard of. It's like ridiculous. I mean, the way that they're treating the media right now is about as bad as how the team was this year.
All right, so then is that paranoia? Is that that they're embarrassed?
I mean, I don't know. Like we just tested the SID to see if they have released a starting quarterback's name yet, and the answer was no. So, like, I don't know if it's, you know, it's so hard to tell with this team when they shut off like this. I've been covering this team forever, you know that they go, and, like, I've never seen the media just not have access to the team like this. Miami's always prided itself on being almost like an NFL, you know, where they were like one of the last teams to have an open locker room. You know, they were always very forthcoming, letting us even watch entire practices when other schools were barely letting you even talk to coordinators. But it's gotten less and less and less, and this is the worst bowl availability I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I know that they're ultra sensitive because they are with me. They've been with me for years. They hated that I went after Al Golden and all that stuff, and since then they've kind of held it against me too. So I know that they're ultra sensitive over there. I mean, if you're gonna have thin skin like that, then you're in the wrong business, dude. I mean, that if that's what it's really all about, and in the end, they have nobody to blame but themselves for where the state of the program is and the results of it.
I mean, you're not going to get an argument for me. I mean, this is just not a good situation. And guess what? If they don't show up to play today, I mean, you know, I've talked about, you know, different things being an indictment of the way of the coaching staff or just the overall program. I mean, if they don't show up to play today, I mean, it's another indictment of just the entire program. Like, you can't just wallow in sorrow, and if your coaches, you know, can't get you up for a game against Louisiana Tech, like this is a game where I've been telling people they can either win by 20 or lose by 20. It just depends if they want to play or not. I mean, there's not a single player on Louisiana Tech that Miami would have recruited or would be starting right now at Miami. So, you know, your producer was talking about the you know, Miami's favored by, you know, 6-7 points, whatever it is. Like,
points, yeah.
First of all, they're favored just because, you know, not every fan follows Miami as closely as you and I do. And if you're in Vegas and you see Miami against Louisiana Tech in a betting line of 6, I mean, who are you going to take? You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, just on talent alone, you take Miami, you know? So that's why the betting line's that. But to me, if anything, a true betting line, I'd probably have it even, or maybe even Louisiana Tech by 1 or 2, just given the fact some Miami players aren't even playing in the game. They're going to play a lot of young guys who've never played before, you know, or haven't played meaningful snaps before, I should say. Just so much going on. They've coming off those 2 horrible losses. And but it is hard to tell just because they have not let us watch practice. You know, if the team's head is in the right place, you know, if the coaches are doing the right things in practices, it's just hard to tell when they don't open any of it. So
let me explain why you're a freaking genius, okay? We just had.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to hear this.
We just had our Hialeah Park Sports Investment segment on, and we just had a handicapper on, and we wanted to go over some of the games. One of them was the UM game, because I am baffled that Miami is favored by 7 or 6.5, depending on how you get the line. I've been telling everybody so far, go with La Tech. You got to go La Tech. Well, the handicapper in Vegas, guess what? He loves the U, just like you said, because he probably doesn't see all the little things that you and I have seen with the U in every week. And again, he probably hasn't really highlighted all the people that are missing this game for the U and all the young people that they're going to end up playing. And it's exactly what you said. The guy that doesn't necessarily follow it as much probably thinks this is a bargain at 7. You and I and a lot of the Canes fans that see this every week, we're like, well, wait a minute. It was like, what was the other game recently that they were favored heavily to? And we were like, how are they?
What How about game? 2 of them? Not just one, 2. No, Duke and FIU.
What, yeah, no. Dude, wasn't it Pitt or something like that they were favored big time on it? Or no, it wasn't Pitt. It was
Georgia Tech. I mean,
it was FIU. It was FIU. Yeah. They had a huge advantage on FIU, right? The point spread.
Yeah, it was 20 plus, yeah.
Exactly, that's what it was. And we're like, wow, that's a lot of points. And that's the thing. And you're right, it's actually been a couple of games. That's where I was going to ask you that about this game. I don't understand what Vegas sees that they have the Canes favored by 6.5 or 7 points. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a handicapper or an expert. I don't bet on these games. I don't actually bet on any games. I guess I'm sort of boring. But what I will tell you is, again, if you are playing a team that doesn't have a single player that would start on the other team, who are you going to favor? The only reason why Louisiana Tech, in my mind, has a decent chance to win this game is because mentally, Louisiana Tech, this is their Super Bowl. This is their reward for a season, okay? And they've won 1 million bowl games in a row. Their coaches prepare them in those 15 practices for winning the bowl game. On Miami's side, this is not where they want to be. I don't think the players are thrilled to be there. Those 15 practices were not spent on Louisiana Tech. A very good portion of them were spent on just Miami working their younger players into the practices. Truth be told, I honestly believe this, although Miami would never say it. I think if the NCAA gave a school a choice, you can do the 15 practices and not go to the bowl game, I think they would have done that. I think they are going to this bowl game because they get the 15 practices. And those 15 practices were basically about 2020. And Manny Diaz hasn't even shied away from saying that. You know, it's about 2020 for this team right now. So if you're sending those 15 practices, looking at the next year, and the other team's focus for 15 practices on beating Miami, even though they don't have as good skilled players, I mean, it's going to be embarrassing if Louisiana Tech comes out with all these wrinkles based on what they see in Miami's personnel and trying to exploit some of the younger players that they think they'll see out there. You know, and if you end the season losing to Duke, FIU, and Louisiana Tech, and you're Miami, I don't care about 2020. I mean, you just can't do that, you know? So, like, to me, Miami, you know, this is almost like it sounds crazy, but it's almost like a must-win game for Miami. Because you go into 2020 with those 3 losses, every preseason publication has those lists of coaches on the hot seat, and you put Manny Diaz's name in there, and that kills recruiting, and now you're done. Like, you just can't do that. So it's a difficult situation for Miami to navigate, and I don't know that necessarily there's a way out right now. Unless this incoming class is like really going to turn the tide in terms of the way that this team focuses and works, and not just talent-wise, because this is not a talent issue. This is a mental issue at Miami right now.
Now, let me ask you, Matt Shodell from Kane Sport. Matt, how are you looking at this QB decision? Because, you know, I was telling Bill earlier on the show that I don't think this is about hiding or trying to get an advantage on La Tech, because nobody fears your quarterbacks as it is. So the way I'm looking at it, and you tell me if I'm completely wrong here, either as a coaching staff, it's embarrassing that we're at a bowl game and the entire year's gone by and you still don't know who's your best quarterback. Or, 2, the other part that's embarrassing that I find is, are your 3 guys that lack of maturity or whatever that you've got to try to keep them focused, that you're keeping that carrot dangling all the way to the end, so you have all 3 of them with their heads in the game and practice and everything, so you hold this thing out all the way to the end? Or is it just possible that they've known who the starter is, everybody knows who the starter is for weeks, they just want to keep it away? What is it? Please.
Well, I mean, I have a potential different alternative. I mean, it depends on, again, we can't watch practice, so normally we could see who's doing what in the reps and all that other stuff, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Miami coaches, again, with an eye to 2020, either they decided, do they want, you know, some of these quarterbacks to transfer okay? And the only reason I mention that is because for some bizarre reason, I've never heard of this before, but when Tyler Van Dyke took his official visit, he's the Miami signee in the class of 2020 at quarterback. He wasn't hosted by a quarterback, and they actually kept him away from N'Kosi Perry and Jaron Williams the entire visit, which encompasses 48 hours, other than in a meeting when they briefly said hello to each other. Now, that's weird, okay? So if Miami feels like there's a problem with the culture at quarterback, are they trying to jettison these guys? Are they, if they are, which I'm not saying they are, but, like, that's just a weird thing to happen, right? So if they are trying to do that, you start Tate Martell. I don't think they're going to start Tate Martell, okay? I think they're going to start Jaron Williams, but I think it's very telling that the coaches also, Manny Diaz didn't want to answer a question in the one availability he had with the local media for Bowl Week. He was asked if he might play more than one quarterback, and he dodged the question, whereas in the past when you ask that, he'd always say, oh, so-and-so's our starter. Usually Jaron Williams is our starter. So, maybe they have a plan, play all three of them. I don't know. But, the problem with Tate Martell, even if they wanted to start him, he just looks so bad in practices. Like, I don't know how you can mix your team that Tate Martell should be playing in the game, but maybe they'll throw him in there and see what happens. It's going to be really interesting at the quarterback position what they do today. It could go any number of ways. Maybe a guy will start to do real well and play the whole game. Maybe they'll play two. Maybe they'll play three. Maybe they'll rotate, quarters. I don't know. But it's going to be super telling to see what they do. And it would not surprise me at all if one, maybe even two quarterbacks wind up transferring. So we'll see.
Yeah, maybe those infamous packages that they talked about for Tate Martell are the ones that are revealed today. Maybe that's what they're doing. After all, the whole year the kid's been all, whatever, they reward him with a couple of those packages for
yeah, they might
Tate
work
Martell.
it in. I mean, people are saying he's going to start. I mean, what I heard is he's not going to start, but again, with this coaching staff, I mean, they could make a last-minute decision, It's just so hard to tell what they're going to do,
How about this? Chris Syria, who's listening to the show on Twitter, says La Tech on the money line is plus 205. It pays 305 for a $100 bet. And if reports are that some Kings don't care, it could be easy money on taking La Tech. How about that, dude? I mean, it's actually worth it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't get involved in the betting stuff. The last thing I need to do is to endorse a betting line one way or the other, and then have everybody all mad at me. I have, I don't know. I don't deal with that stuff. I don't bet. But I mean, look, I do agree that if Miami,
I'll do it for you, baby. Don't worry about it. I'll take the heat. No problem.
If Miami doesn't come to play, obviously Louisiana Tech is the team you're going to want to take. Period.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. Recruiting wise, what's the latest, my brother? What have you heard? Because Manny also said that he wasn't, that they're not done with this class. So you tell us.
Right. Well, the reason they're not done is because they didn't get anybody to come and sign late. So they wound up getting 18 signees. They've got a 19th commitment, Willie Moyes, the defensive tackle from Hollywood, who is just working to fix up some grade stuff. They don't want to sign him until they're sure he can qualify, which he should be able to. So that'll be a 19th. They got room for about 6 more guys, not including transfers, because transfers can count either against 2020 or 2021. It's up to Miami how they want to count it. Now, I don't expect them to take 6 more true class of 2020 guys, just because you don't really want to hamper your 2021 class. But it looks like they're going to try to take at least one offensive lineman and then another offensive line transfer. There's a couple of kids from Stanford who are looking to transfer. They grad transfer, and I know at least one of them is considering Miami. They're looking for another DB. Avante Williams will take a visit in January. He would be a good fit there. And then they're actually looking for another defensive lineman, so a defensive tackle. So we'll see if they wind up with another one of those. But the recruiting is a little stagnant. It's nice and good for the coaches. They were able to hold on to almost all of their early commitments. Really actually shocking in a sense, with all the negativity going on around the program, that these kids all are willing to come here. And maybe that's a good sign for the future, for fans who are holding out hope that this thing will turn around. There's your ray of hope there, is that these 18 kids all basically stuck strong once they committed. There's only one late decommitment, a kid, Romello Height, who ended up going to Auburn. So yeah, I mean, the recruiting class they signed, I think is fine. I don't care about these rankings as ranked 16th or whatever. I mean, those rankings mean nothing to me. I do think it's a good class in terms of the numbers that Miami needed to fill, a good class in terms of the quality. the recruits. I don't see them taking these 2-star guys that Al Golden was taking. You know, and when I say 2-star, I mean, again, the rankings don't matter, but you can see in a 2-star that they're usually developmental. Okay, there's a reason why they're a 2-star. They're not taking those kids. They're trying to take the high-quality kids. If they can't get a high-quality kid, they'll leave the spot open for the next year, which is how you should do it. So that's the good news for Miami. Recruiting actually has not been as bad as it could be.
How many guys this year, Matt, would you say this coaching staff, that they became drastically better players because of this coaching staff?
Well, see, that's the issue, okay? So that's what everybody always asks, and there really hasn't, you know, it's not just this coaching staff. Think back. I mean, how many players have really gotten better over the last decade?
It's
you
been
know,
a
like
habitual
you can point
issue.
to a handful.
It's been
You can
habitual.
point to a handful of them. I mean, look, you could argue that some guys got somewhat better. You know, I mean, Mark Pope had some flashes. D. Wiggins certainly got better. You know, Brevin Jordan, I would argue, was better in year 2 than in year 1, even though he got hurt. I would argue the offensive line got better as the season went on. They're still awful, but I think Butch Barry is an excellent coach, a terrible recruiter, but an excellent coach. Okay, so if they can just get him some help recruiting-wise, it's not going to be that bad on the offensive line. I mean, with what he has, it was pretty remarkable that, you know, that the last 4 or 5 games of the season that they did look better. I mean, the last couple, notwithstanding, weren't great, but they did look better trending that way. And then, you know, defensive line, I mean, obviously Greg Rousseau is just off the charts. I don't think they did anything there special. I mean, he was going to be that good anyway. And, yeah, there's really, on defense, I would argue that some guys, you know, got worse. Like DJ Ivey, I think, had a terrible year. I think Trajan Bandy was worse this year than last year. I think Al Blades was better, but I just don't think he was really tested the way some teams probably should have tested him. They didn't play a lot of great passing teams this year. And Bubba Baxa obviously got significantly worse. So, yeah, I mean, it's a mixed bag. You know, I wouldn't say anybody's gotten a lot better. The quarterbacks certainly haven't gotten much better, even though Jaron had some moments. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, you know.
Is Bandy gone?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to somebody who's close with Bandy who said they do expect him to leave. So I guess the problem is if he signed with an agent now or made it public now, he would not be able to play in the bowl game.
Right.
So he's holding off, but I do expect him to leave, yeah.
Why? If he may not even get drafted. If he
No,
does,
he won't get drafted. He's
Right,
5'8". I mean, he's not getting drafted, but you know, the family needs money. Maybe he could hook on to a practice squad or hook on to one of these other leagues or something. You know, if you got to make money for your family, you got to make money for your family.
No,
you
I get
know?
that.
I mean,
I get that. I understand that.
He's
But
in a tough situation. He should absolutely come back. I mean, on paper, you know, I mean, even, you know, I think it's crazy that John Garvin's going pro, but you know, these guys don't get it. You know, they think, oh, you know, they don't want to be in school. Some of them, like Jeff Thomas, and they just are like, you know what, I'll take my chances. Maybe I'll really impress in the NFL Combine, you know, and some team will take a chance on me. And usually it doesn't happen, but that's how they go about it. And then, you know, a lot of them do get signed as free agents, and they feel like that'll be their chance. So that's going to happen with a bunch of these guys. I mean, the only guy who's going to go in the first 3 rounds, from what I've heard, talking to an NFL guy, is Trayvon Hill. They're not going to have anybody else in the first 3 rounds, from what this guy was telling me.
So is this more of an indictment on Manny too? That these guys, I'd rather go take my chance than come back here and risk injury when I'm really not going to make myself any better or improve my draft stock. Whereas the thinking usually was, hey, let me go back and rebuild myself and build up that draft stock even, you know, more, and I'll get drafted, you know, earlier next year, and I'll make more money by staying. These guys are all telling me that they're not going to, except for Jeff Thomas.
It's not Manny.
Like
Look, it's not Manny. No. It's an indictment of agents and families. It's an indictment of both of those categories. You can't listen. Coaches can only do so much. These coaches and Al Golden, same thing. Like they're trying to do what's best for the kid. They actually talk to their NFL sources. They give the kids the information that they get. Here's where they're saying you're going to go. These kids have been given accurate information, and the agents are like, oh, no, you'll go high or whatever. And they don't, you know. So, I mean, like, what are you going to do? It's time after, you know, Joe Jackson, Gerald Lewis. I mean, you just go down the list of all these guys that seem to think they're going to be going in the first few rounds, and it's just like it doesn't happen time after time, and the kids just think they're different every time they go out early, and it's not going to wind up very good for most of them. So, you know, a lot of the agents, here's what the agents do, okay? The agents tell the kids, your first contract doesn't matter. It's the second contract where you make your money. So leave now, then you get an extra year start on your first contract, and you'll make your big money earlier, and you'll have that way you won't be as old. When you're there, you have an extra year of making big money in the NFL. Blah, blah, blah. They sell the whole thing to the family. It's a whole package that sells the families and the kids. Okay? And it's not untrue. You know, the second contract is where an NFL football player makes big money. It's not the first contract.
That's true.
But by the same token, some of these kids would really have a chance to make a team and be on a team and have a chance to make an impact if they stayed an extra year. Because, you know, if they're undrafted, you know how that usually works out. Whereas with John Garvin, if he comes back and has a big year opposite Greg Rousseau, which I think he would, since it would switch around from instead of Garvin getting all the attention, it would be Rousseau getting all the attention next year. I think Garvin would have had maybe an 8 to 10 sack year, probably worked his way into the fourth round, maybe even third round. You know, instead he's probably going to be undrafted or a late round guy. So, you know, they pick their poison, but that's what they're being sold, a bill of goods, and it's on those agents and on those families to do their homework. And if they want to trust an agent over what the coaches are telling them at Miami, then, you know, there's only so much you can do.
Matt Shodell does an excellent job of covering the Canes for Cane Sport. Obviously, you'll have coverage of the game. What else are you doing on Cane Sport so folks can check you out and subscribe?
Oh, well, I mean, we have, you name it. I mean, we got the message board interaction with the fans. We got the game coverage. We got columns after the game, game story, grading the Canes at each position. You know, moving ahead, we're going to break down every single player on the team over the next week or so and what they need to do and where they're at right now. And then a look ahead to 2020 and sort of what fans can expect in 2020. So, I mean, there's nothing that you can think of, like anything you could think of. We've been doing this for, 25, 30 years. I can't even count that high anymore. Like, we pretty much have it down to a science, just what fans need, what fans want, and we just sort of do it all. So that's our objective once again.
There you go. You're warm. You're here. You're not in Shreveport. You're winning, my man. Enjoy the game today, and thank you for taking some time as always, man. Appreciate it.
Sure, anytime. All right, Big O.
You got it, baby. There you go. Matt Shodell, man. Always a gentleman, always kind enough to join us on the program, because it's just so weird that you would hold out on the quarterback decision. And how about the Canes? How petty have they been? They don't give access to the media now, and now you get no coverage all week because you're not giving them any coverage for practice. The media doesn't block for you, dude. The media doesn't catch passes. The media doesn't coach. The media doesn't rush the passer. The media doesn't screw up the recruits. The media doesn't screw up the coaching. The media doesn't have anything to do with Jeff Thomas. Nothing.
You know, this sounds like temper tantrum, a kid.
Yeah.
You're screwing up. You're in trouble, and you're going to pitch a fit and take it out on everybody else.
That's it. Marlins they've been like that forever, and under Jeter, I can't say that they've drastically changed. They're trying, but they haven't done enough. But the Marlins were like that too, and it's like, dude, look in the mirror. Why do you think the Heat gets the coverage that they get? Because the Heat are exceptional. They give you the access, good or bad. You get to talk to the players. You talk to the coach every day. They don't X you out or anything like that. And that's it. But they're a great franchise. So even when they go in their lulls, people understand that, okay, it's all right. They're still a great franchise. They had their little stink here for the last 3 or 4 years, 3 years, let's say, with those bad contracts. But we know 25 years of Riley, okay, so what? So you deal for a couple bad years. But the Heat gets it. They've always gotten it. And Canes football, they don't get it. Marlins certainly have not gotten it. I always tell the story. They had a guy, I think it was Matt Robach, I think was his name or something. I mean, a terrible PR guy for the Marlins for many years. I think it was Robach. I don't know. Maybe it's not Robach. It was Matt something. And, I mean, horrible, bro. And they don't give you players. I mean, this is a team that doesn't win at all. And if your producer's calling them, hey, we'd like to get a player on to talk a little Marlins, and you make it impossible, it's like, well, don't you want to promote your sport? Don't you want to talk? And so Matt was like Mr. Negativity on everything, right? So I leave QAM and I go to 640. And I was there for 4 years. So the first week I'm there, I call Matt and I say, hey, Matt, I'm at 640 now. You know, I'd like to try to bring on some Marlins because I'm on a station that has the Yankees, and I have no interest in talking Yankees. So I have a great idea. We can talk Marlins leading up to Yankees, and we're, you know, talking. And he goes, well, I like that idea, but we can't do that because now that you're on that Yankee station, we can't give you any players. We can't work with you because you're on the Yankee station. And I'm like, do you know that makes no sense? That if somebody's calling you from a Yankee station, what you should do is give me more players than everybody else, even on the Marlins station. Do you know why? Because I'm on the Yankee station, and what you want to do is sell the Marlins as much as possible. Dumbass. But that's the thinking you have in this business. Listen, you guys have you don't know 95% of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Okay? I mean, the people that the radio business puts in place to make decisions are people that don't know our business. They've never even done a successful radio show. Never. They've never connected with the public, nothing whatsoever. But yet, they're the ones making all the business decisions. QAM's got a moron in place that he thinks he's some PPM genius. And look at their ratings. Dirt poor. And the only guy that gets ratings is Le Batard because he's more of the national general guy. Outside of that, nothing gets ratings. Because he's not going to make anything better because that guy doesn't know anything. Just like most of the people in that building, unfortunately. But that's the way it goes. That's the way this business is. They put morons in place that don't know anything. They don't know how to run this. They don't know how to do anything whatsoever. And in these sports teams, same thing. They put people in place that they have no idea. That was a perfect scenario right there. When I went to 640, perfect scenario for the Marlins to bombard me with guests. Just so you can combat the other team in your town. No other town deals with that unless they have two baseball teams in town. Then, of course, they're going to have that.
Just to let you know, I am contacting our 130.
Okay.
Mr. Rowe.
All right, good. All right, we're ready to go with Jake Rowe. We're going to have Jake Rowe on from 247 Sports. Jake covers the Georgia Bulldogs. So we will get him on and talk a little Jake Fromm because we're going to switch over. Remember, what we're doing is all of the draftable quarterbacks, we're going to go find and track beat writers, guys that are around these players all the time, and get insight on them. And Jake Rowe works for 247 Sports, so we'll get him on to talk a little Georgia football and get his thoughts on Jake Fromm and what he thinks of Fromm going into the NFL, because obviously Fromm is his next stop is the NFL, and we'll find out. I personally, the Eason kid kind of intrigues me. The kid that left Georgia to go over to Washington, he kind of intrigues me. Now, he's not a first-round pick either, so that's why it's kind of a little bit of a project in the second or third rounds, but that kid's got a skill set that kind of, I got to say, as the late, great Mad Dog would say, it gets my toes tingling a little bit when I see that cat and his abilities. So maybe that's something that you can what's it called, mold into something down the line. Georgia, by the way, is going to be taking on Baylor in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the Mercedes Superdome. So we'll get the latest from Fromm and from Jake Rowe, who covers Georgia for 247 Sports.
You want to take a break? Trying to get him.
All right, you got it. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Eric Rowe, Jake Rowe will join us. I'm thinking Dolphins safety. Jake Rowe will join us covering Georgia. We will talk Jake Fromm next.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Jake Rowe from 247 Sports is kind enough to join us now. He covers Georgia on a daily basis, and you can follow him on Twitter at Rowe247 as Georgia gets ready to take on Baylor, and that'll be on the 1st, on Wednesday next week. Number 5, Georgia 11-2, Baylor 11-2. Let's bring Jake on. Jake, good afternoon, my man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, fellas. How are y'all?
Very good, Jake. Jake, one of the things we're doing is obviously we're in South Florida, Dolphin town, Dolphin focused here, and going into the draft, they've got 4,000 picks, as you know. And so we're kind of focusing in on all the different quarterbacks that are going to get drafted. We talked to a beat writer that covers Tua, another one that covers Joe Burrow. So we are talking with you now to talk about a little bit about Jake Fromm, another guy that's going to be going into the draft. First of all, when you look at Jake, what are the things that tell you he is going to be successful at the next level, at the higher level?
Well, I think the first thing you know everybody would point to is his preparation. I mean, he's a guy that when you talk about an NFL quarterback who can make all the adjustments at the line of scrimmage, get you in the right play. You talk about the kind of guy who's going to know a defense inside and out. That's Jake Fromm. I mean, he's just a really intelligent, smart guy. Wins with his head. He does a really nice job of knowing where to go with the football and getting the ball out of his hands. You look at over the course of his 3-year career at Georgia, he doesn't get sacked much. Now, some of that's been because of good protection, but some of it's simply because he knows where to go with the football as soon as he touches. And all those things are huge, especially when you play in the NFL. And everything's happening at warp speed. So I think that's a big one. He anticipates his throws real well, and I think he struggled with that a little bit this past year because he's dealing with so many young receivers. But he anticipates his throws really well. He's accurate with the football. He the past 2 years, he's been a really good deep ball guy. He connects with his deep ball shots and really throws the ball well to the sideline. I think that's probably one of his biggest attributes as a thrower is the fact that he can fit the ball in the tight windows near the sideline, keep the ball out of harm's way really well.
What were his signature moments this year? Auburn, Florida. Where would you put his signature moments as a quarterback this year?
Well, anytime you talk about Jake Fromm's signature moments, it's always going to be against Florida. He dominated them in his career. Came out and had a tremendous game against them this year. Georgia went 12 of 18 on third down against the Gators. Jake was tremendous on third down. Threw the ball really well in the middle of the field in that game, and just kind of also was really elusive in the pocket. They had a hard time when they did try to get to him of bringing him down in the pocket. I think Auburn was a pretty solid game as far as the red zone goes. I mean, he didn't.
It wasn't
It wasn't
a stat game, but it was a scoring game for him, right? Or that's what it was like.
No doubt, yeah,
right?
exactly,
right,
exactly. He was really efficient in the red zone. Made all the right decisions in the red zone. Georgia as an offense struggled overall, but he was 3 of 3 for games there. And I know the South Carolina game. Everybody wants to point to the 3 interceptions. It's the only time in his career that he's thrown 3 interceptions in a game. Only time in his career he's ever thrown a pick 6 in a game. But he also had a 96-yard touchdown drive in that game to tie it up for Georgia. After one of the interceptions was his fault. 2 of the others weren't. But he still found a way to engineer a 96-yard touchdown drive, throw the game-time touchdown pass, get that game to overtime. So he had a pretty good one there. And then against Tennessee on the road, in that game, he was great on third down, really accurate, no matter where he threw it on the field. And he had some struggles this year, but he also had some pretty big moments. I mean, everybody wants to talk about that down the stretch where he won several games in a row without having 50% completion percentage. Well, during that stretch, he was 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he did find a way to impact the game in a positive way even when things weren't going right.
So what do you say to people who say, well, the LSU game, 2 interceptions, didn't step up, didn't have a great game, didn't have a good completion percentage in that one, and that's the game where you wanted to see him be at his best against the best in that conference?
Well, he didn't play great in that game. I mean, that's just all there is to it. He wasn't at his best, but he had some drops. He had some big drops. First play of the game, right down the middle of the field, a guy streaking open for maybe a 40-yard gain, and the ball goes right off his hands. He had a touchdown pass drop later in that game. He also pulled the string on throws and didn't come up with the big throw. But that was indicative, I think. Listen, like I said, I understand Jake Fromm didn't play well at 4 points this year, and I'm not trying to make excuses for him. But at the same time, I mean, they struggled at wide receiver all year long. That Auburn game, they couldn't get separation. South Carolina game, couldn't get guys to run the right route or catch the football. I mean, there was a lot that went wrong that was beyond Jake Fromm's control. They didn't run the ball well at all the second half of the season. And that's one thing I would say to people is this. Jake Fromm is probably not going to be the quarterback who's going to put your team on his back week in and week out and win you a game. But there are only a handful of guys in the sport that can do that anyway. What Jake's going to do is if you put pieces around him, and it doesn't even have to be the right pieces. I still think he has some flexibility there. But if you put pieces around him, if you can give him a little bit of a run game, give him go-to wide receivers, I think he's going to be highly successful. I just think what you saw this year at Georgia was the fact that Georgia didn't run the football effectively. Georgia didn't have consistent play at wide receiver. The only thing they did well around Jake Fromm this year was protect the quarterback, and that's all well and good when you've got receivers who can get open and improvise, and they didn't do that.
Now, and we're talking by the way with Jake Rowe from 247 Sports. He covers the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, I'm going to ask a little bit of a twisted question for you, Jake. Is it do we focus too much on the Georgia quarterback? Because it's not like DJ Shockley wasn't a bad quarterback. He was good, and so was David Green, and so is Matt Stafford, and so is Jake Fromm. But it's kind of been the Georgia program that has had the problem of getting over that hump and those big moments in big games, whether it was under Mark Richt or now under Kirby Smart. And we almost kind of lay it all on the quarterback, and then we say, well, then David Green didn't do enough, and Matt Stafford didn't do enough, and now we say that Fromm didn't do enough. But it's kind of been an MO for the entire football program. There hasn't been those signature moments for Georgia football in a long time. They've been really good, but they haven't crossed that threshold that LSU has, that Auburn has, that Florida has, that obviously Alabama, damn it, crosses all the damn time. But you know what I'm saying? It's almost like we kind of lay it all on the quarterback, and it's kind of been a program issue.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, if you just want to talk Jake Fromm here, like you just want to go with the most recent example, look at the 2017 National Championship game. Yeah, Fromm had a couple of mistakes in the game. So did Tua as a freshman.
Right. Yeah.
He threw a couple of interceptions.
That's right.
Well, you look at second and 26. I mean, Georgia's done what it can do. It's got the lead in overtime. Shaky field goal kicker. Defense has sacked Tua for a 16-yard loss on first down. Second and 26, and you get a senior safety looked off by a freshman quarterback, and touchdown, game over. You look at last year's SEC championship game against Alabama. Jake Fromm is 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game, but Alabama has the ball for half of the fourth quarter because the backup quarterback, again, is in the game, and Georgia can't get off the field defensively. It goes 0-5 or 0-4 on third down on one drive. Alabama holds the ball for over 7.5 minutes. Then they score a touchdown. They score another touchdown later in the quarter to win the game. And that's just kind of how it's gone for Georgia. I mean, listen, the quarterback, there's probably been times where the quarterback can make more plays and win a game for them. But there have also been times where it's been on somebody else to make come up, make a play, and nobody has.
Right. That's my point, because it can't be one quarterback after another, because we kind of said the same thing about Matt Stafford, too, when he was coming out of Georgia. All the talent in the world, and then there weren't a lot of those signature moments, and it's like, I don't know if I think we're focusing too much on one position, where it's kind of that whole program has to kind of take that turn that Clemson has and other programs have. And Georgia just seems to kind of mess around with it and get to that threshold but never cross it. You know what I mean? And
no doubt, yeah. But ultimately, I think it comes down to this. If you want to talk quarterbacks in Georgia, they've had some winners. They've had a lot of winners. David Green, DJ Shockley, Aaron Murray, Jake Fromm, all of those guys have been winners. That's just all there is to it. There's only one team that climbs to the top of the mountain every year. You've seen some great ones not win it in the NFL. You've seen some great ones not win it at the college football level. And Georgia's had some great ones that just haven't busted through for one reason or another. And, like you said, that it has been a program thing. Like I said, there have been times where the quarterback maybe could have made the play or two to get them over the hump. But there's been times where everybody else can make a play or two to get them over the hump, too. And no, it's not just all on the quarterback. And if folks kind of want to make it that way, then everybody's entitled to their opinion. But there have been a lot of different reasons, because there have been a lot of different opportunities, because there have been a lot of really good quarterbacks to play at Georgia to help get them to that point. And it's not just one thing.
And one of the things you mentioned earlier in this interview, they haven't been dominant in the running game. And there were times in the season that if you had a dominant running game, maybe things would have been a little different for Georgia. Maybe we're talking about an undefeated season. Who knows? But you haven't been spoiled with the typical Georgia running game either.
Exactly. And I'd say this. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe it'd be okay if it wasn't dominant. Maybe it'd be okay if it was just good. Because against Florida, they couldn't run it. Against Auburn, they ran it a little better, but not great.
Right.
Couldn't run it at all against LSU. I mean, just a good running game would have been a huge boost for Georgia down the stretch.
So what do you think? Fromm's a second rounder? You think that's where he goes?
I think that's very possible. I think that he's one of those guys where it's really tough. It's going to be really elastic where he ends up with, because he's going to turn some teams off because he's not the super tall, super athletic guy. He's not going to have the big hands that everybody likes, and he's not going to. And I think his arm I think he's got a good arm, not great or not elite. So I think he's going to turn some teams off. They're going to look for reasons not to get him. But then there's probably going to be 5, 6, 7 teams, maybe more, maybe less, who they get in there with him and they sit down and they start rolling through the playbook, start rolling through film. They're going to fall in love with him, and they're going to like him more than everybody else. So I think he's going to really turn some teams on. He's going to really turn some teams off, and it really depends on which one. Because if there's a mid to late first round team that just loves the kid, maybe they take a shot at him. Or maybe there's a team that's like that. They've got a couple guys higher and they can get him in the third. I see him as a day 2 guy with a chance to go early on day 3, unless somebody just absolutely falls in love with him.
Jake, before I let you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, the kid that left Georgia and is playing at Washington, I kind of think he's the better NFL prospect, but you tell me, you got to see a little Jacob Eason. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, he's an unlimited guy as far as a passer, as far as physical ability. Now, he has a howitzer for an arm. He gets rid of the ball quick. He's really calm and collected. I think that's one thing that I really love about him is he doesn't get rattled. Very, very even keel, and you like that. The one thing that worries me about him, though, and I think you see this if you flip on the tape, is he's just not deep ball accurate. He struggled as a freshman at Georgia. He struggled this past year at Washington with that. He's just not deep ball accurate. Georgia called. I got to give Jim Chaney a lot of credit for what he did in Jacob Eason's freshman year, because he dialed up layup after layup for him. And I would say he probably hit 1 out of every 4 of them, maybe 1 out of every 3. And some quarterback coach believe that you just can't really teach accuracy, and that's something he struggled with at Georgia. But
I'm one of those guys, by the way.
To make all the throws, he can do it.
I'm one of those guys, by the way, Jake. I don't believe you can teach accuracy. I believe you either have it or you don't. And now, the guy that is not fundamentally sound and his legs are all over the place, yeah, you can improve it if you have him stand the right way and all that good stuff. But for me, at least, I'm 53, man. Normally, just quarterbacks that aren't accurate, they really never become accurate. That's just not the case. I'm one of those guys. Are you one of those guys too?
I'm not a big quarterback guy. I'm more of an offensive line guy. I've coached high school football and spent a lot of time around a lot of positions. The quarterback's not really my forte. But I will say that, correct anything mechanically and get a guy going perfect mechanically, and then maybe you can kind of figure it out. If he can't throw accurately while he's working under sound mechanics, then he probably can't do it. But ultimately, it also comes down to confidence and comfortability as well. And maybe Jacob's not he's only been. If you're talking Jacob Eason here, he had 1 year as a freshman, which is tough, and then he had 1 year as a starter at another program. So it's kind of an up-in-the-air proposition for him. But I do know this, that the kid can put it anywhere on the football field you want it, and that speaks for something.
Yeah, the talent in itself will probably, the people will reach for him a little bit more, because you know how it is, man. They see the talent, Jake, and there are a lot of coaches that say, okay, I can mold that talent into greatness. And they get drunk over the talent. And that's the one thing that you see with Eason, that he definitely has the skills to play at the next level. There's no doubt about that.
Yep, he's got him. Got him in spades.
Follow him on Twitter at Row247 and catch his work at 247 Sports covering the Georgia Bulldogs. Jake, thank you for taking some time, my man. We really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Take care.
You got it. There you go, Jake Rowe, man. Good stuff. Talking a little bit about Jake Fromm. Decent quarterback. I think I got to say, I think Jake Rowe described him perfectly. And solid, smart overall. It's just there aren't enough of those moments. It's kind of like Justin Herbert too. Justin Herbert's got the size, has got the arm, I mean, physically, he's even better than Jake. But yet, there's something there that doesn't convince you. The Eason kid is the one that guys keep telling me that they really like the ability. And then the one thing that Jake talked about, the deep ball accuracy, is something and that's disturbing. At least for me it is, because when you lack accuracy, it bothers me. It's just something that I don't think you're really ever going to overcome. More often, look, one day it'll happen. Some guy's going to overcome it, but I think most guys do not overcome a lack of accuracy. I just don't. I don't believe in it.
It's like you said, if he's not good, got good feet, his body up underneath him, squaring up, following through, you could improve your accuracy with that, but pretty much you either got it or you don't.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Michelle Kaufman is going to join us at 2:15. Normally it's at 2 o'clock. She needs a few more minutes, and we are going to accommodate her because she is phenomenal for joining us every single week like she always does. And we'll get the latest on what's going on with Inter, if there's anything going on in Inter. Actually, I have no idea. I don't think there's been too much going on, but you never know. She unearths all kinds of nuggets every single week here. She tells us something that we didn't know was going on, or something that's developing, or tells us to look out for something. So she always has some kind of insight on it. So I'm looking forward to talking to her at 2:15 about that. I got a bunch of things to talk about also on the show. David Dwork is going to join us at 2:30 to talk a little Panthers here. When we come back, I'm going to give you my picks. We're going to get into the NBA picks. We are 17-7 after going 2-2 on Christmas Day. I will give you my picks when we come back on the other side. Before we do that, let me tell you about Caneswear, because Brett and all the amazing people at Caneswear, they know how to take care of you. And listen, if you're looking for jerseys and polos and T-shirts and hats and hoodies and steering wheel covers and pens and papers and stickers and autographed items and posters and you name it, they've got it all there. Not only Canes, but they've got Dolphins, Panthers, Marlins, Heat, Inter Miami, all kinds of stuff. And it's the only place to get all of these brands under one roof. Adidas, Columbia, Starter, Dime Life, Donation, Top of the World, Hook and Tackle, and Canes World exclusives. Tell Brett and all the great people out there that Big O sent you. Go to the website at caneswear.com. Caneswear at Miami Fanwear. That's the spot where fans like me shop.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19. Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, welcome back. We will have Michelle Kaufman join us here in hour number 4 in about 15 minutes. Before we get to Michelle Kaufman, let's talk a little basketball. We love talking some basketball, right? Are we going to talk any? What's the name of that star for the Bucks? What's his name?
Oh, Giannonis.
You're just as bad.
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
what?
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
what was that, Seth Greenberg?
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
what's he trying to say? Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis. No. It's a Y. Giannis.
Oh, it sounds like a Y.
Yes. Say Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No. Antete. Kumpo. Antetokounmpo. There you go. And Spoelstra?
Dude, I got to say.
And Spoelstra?
Oh, Coach Spoelstra.
You got that one right. Okay.
Look, you did really good with steering wheel covers there, buddy.
when you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
what?
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
what?
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
what?
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
what the hell is Seth Greenberg? Is he drunk or something? Giannis Antetokounmpo.
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
that was kind of funny this morning watching Jay Will and him, college guys, talking pro.
Yeah.
And they had Scheffler.
Scheffler?
Oh, no. What's his name?
Or Schefter.
The football guru sitting there talking about NBA.
And Jason Williams looks completely like a fish out of water driving the show. It's awesome. And, of course, Seth Greenberg talking about Giannis.
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Polo.
When you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Giannis Akabobobo. I don't know what the hell he's saying. All right, so yesterday we went 2-2 in the spread in basketball. So we are 17-7. Still doing well. We're still doing good overall. We got a couple games today. The Knicks have a couple of injuries, including Dennis Smith Jr. Wayne Ellington also has been ruled as doubtful. The Nets are favored by 7 against the Knicks. The Nets are a much better team. They're home. It'll be in Brooklyn. I am going to go with Nets -7 in this game. Mavs. Mavs are favored by 7 today. The over and under is 226.5. They are hosting the Spurs. It's a battle of Texas. And I'm going to go Mavs. Luka Doncic is back. Mavs are playing really well. They were playing well even without Luka. They actually had some really good wins. They get the best player back. -7. Spurs cannot defend. They're not good on the road. I am laying the 7 points. Go Mavs. Kings are favored by 4.5 over the Wolves. Remember, Karl Anthony Towns is out. He's been out with that knee injury for several games. I think he's out again tonight. Kings are favored by 4.5. They're just playing better than the Wolves right now. Wolves, again, are not a good team on the road as it is. I'm going Kings, laying the 4.5, so 3 favorites so far. Jazz taking on the Blazers. The Blazers have been an outright disappointment, but then again, when you trade for Whiteside and sign Melo, you get what you deserve. The over and under is 219.5. I am going with the Jazz. I am playing a little music. Going with Utah -5.5. Go Utah. So those are my 4 picks today. All favorites. Nets -7 against the sorry-ass Knicks. Mavs -7 against the Spurs. Kings -4.5 against the Wolves. And I'll take the Jazz -5.5 against the Blazers. And not that it goes with my totals here and my NBA picks, but take La Tech plus 6.5 or 7. Whatever the line is that you get, take it. Run with it. In fact, bet La Tech the money line. La Tech is going to win the game against University of Miami. Okay?
To bet 100, win 205?
Yes.
That's nice.
That's very nice. Speaking of basketball, how about the report of Zion Williamson? Pelicans teaching him how to walk and run. This is why the number 1 overall pick is never a sure thing. Hey, Nico. Hey. Listen. I'm on record, bro. I said Ja Morant would be the better player out of the 2. I would take Ja Morant 1. So that's just me. I'm one of them that probably people were thinking you're a nutbag. But I was a bigger Ja Morant guy than Zion. I don't trust Zion. I know he's got crazy ability, but I don't trust that body to stay healthy. No way. No way. Mm-mm. And all this stuff, whether you want to straighten out his walk and maybe that will avoid injuries or anything like that, we'll see. We'll see. But he's already lost Rookie of the Year. You know that? That's the interesting part right now with Zion Williamson already. He came in as the favorite for the Rookie of the Year, the obvious pick. Hell, in my fantasy league, he was chosen number 1 overall. Number 1. The guy that took him, I don't know the guy, but the second he took him, I said, thank you for the donation to our league, because I knew that guy wasn't going to beat me. Guaranteed. I knew that guy wasn't a good fantasy player. You take Zion Williamson, number 1 overall, over established players. I don't care that you get to keep him for 3 years, dude. I get you don't pick again till 24 and he won't be around, but you don't ruin your whole season for that. Because now he doesn't help you this year, and you only have him for 2 more years, and you're not even sure about it. Meanwhile, I took the Rookie of the Year at number 12 overall in Ja Morant. So it's all right. No problem. We will do things the right way, and you can do things the wrong way. But Zion's already lost the Rookie of the Year. That's it. I don't think he can make it anymore. I don't think he's going to come back and take the league by storm or anything like that. Ja Morant's already doing that. So no chance that kid's going to. Hell, Kendrick Nunn is light years ahead of Zion now for the Rookie of the Year. So there you go. So Luka Doncic is back. I'm seeing P.J. Washington, the young rookie for Charlotte, with the pinky injury, could return on Friday against the Thunder, are some reports out there. Heat-wise, Justice Winslow was a limited participant in Thursday's practice. So it looks to me like he will not be taking the court against the Pacers on Friday. Interesting with Winslow. Dion Waiters did get a workout in earlier in the week. I don't know what the hell they're doing with Dion. But unfortunately, they got to deal with him and just hang in there on that one. Right, Seth? Oh, wait a minute. Go ahead. We got to put it back up for Seth.
Giannis had a Kabogo.
What?
Giannis had a Kabogo.
What was that? Giannis, what? What are you saying?
Giannis had a Kabogo. Giannis had a Kabogo. Giannis had a Kabogo.
That is this will be here forever with
He's not even trying, you know.
No, he just doesn't know it. He just can't pronounce Antetokounmpo.
But he's not even really trying.
But I mean, did you bother like asking a producer, like, can you phonetically break it down for me? Can you do something to help me out? If you're not, you can't.
Giannis had a Kabogo.
If you can't say, Antetokounmpo, then
Giannis had a Kabogo.
And I get it. Most people can't. I couldn't say it either until you actually taught me how to pronounce it. And then I learned how to pronounce it, and then I'm fine. I'm off and running. It's not like I'm some diction major or anything like that.
Just say Greek freak.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Greek freak. Or Giannis. Just say Giannis. Everybody knows when you say Giannis or when you say freak or Greek.
Just remember that because of the holidays, you do have a skeletal crew. So maybe there weren't any producers other than one or two guys, and they didn't know, and you just get on, go, let's fly.
On ESPN, I don't think that exists. They got so much money in that place. They got the best of the best. Their producers are the best. Like they're the ones that really do all the work behind the scenes for all these people.
Giannis had a Kabogo.
And they get the stats for you and all that, and they can help you pronounce too if you just ask them. The producers over there at ESPN will help you out, man. They're really, really good. You know, kind of the people that set up that whole damn place up. Anyway, so you got my picks there. Once again, Nets -7, Mavs -7, Kings -4.5, and Jazz -5.5. Good luck to all of you. Again, do not blame me if you end up losing everything and your house, your family, everything going on. Okay, so
I noticed no over-unders there.
Nope, I did not like. Okay, I'll admit it was one. The Knicks Nets 224 over had me a little intrigued to go with the over, but once Dennis Smith was out, I kind of backed off a little bit because I know the Nets will do their part. I'm not sure if the Knicks will do their part in scoring, but that's the one that I was thinking of maybe going with that total and go with that over, but I just kind of stayed away from it. But yeah, you know me well now that there are some of the overs and unders that I really like, mostly overs. Usually, it's basketball, bro. They shoot a lot in basketball. They like to score a lot in basketball. It's really hard for me to go with an under in basketball. I almost stay away from the unders. Usually when I go with the totals in basketball, I'm going with an over. Last night I had an over. Last night I had the over in the Celtics Raptors game. It was 213, and they went to 220. So yeah, I saw that and I said, yeah, I like the over in that one, and that one got over to 220. So I was very fortunate to hit on that one. About that? All right, 786-322-1105. That's the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. And next Thursday, we're going to be at Toyota of Hollywood. Looking forward to it. They've got the model year changeover event going on right now. Over 1,500 Toyotas in stock. They are the official #1 volume Toyota dealer. And listen, I always tell you guys that I would never tell you to go buy or lease a vehicle where I wouldn't do it myself, right? And whether it's been Acuras or Toyotas in the Zinn family, I own a Toyota Camry now, an XSE, beautiful car. I love it, man. I am so happy with my Toyota Camry XSE. It is a beautiful vehicle, and they're the #1 volume Toyota dealership. And what you love is, this is one of the things I loved when I went to buy my car. Don't you want a selection? You go to these dealerships, well, you got these 6 to pick from. 6? Are you kidding me? No, dude, we want hundreds. How about 1,500? And that's why if you're going to go get a Corolla, you're going to pick from a ton of Corollas. And you're going to get them in all kinds of colors. The color I was going to get a red Camry. Okay, I love red. Red is one of my favorite colors. And I've had red cars in the past, and actually my TSX, before I totaled it, was a red type color, was a burgundy. And I really love the red Camry. But I saw this aquatic black that was just awesome. Okay? And that's when I told my guy, I said, hey, Herbie, please, show me all the colors. I know I love the red, and the gray one he showed me was awesome. But he showed me all, and I saw that one. I said, yo, what color is that? And right away I fell in love with the car, and I'm telling you, that's why you're going to love going to Toyota of Hollywood, because you're going to want to pick the car you want, the color you want, the model you want, the style you want, but more importantly, the price you want. That's why they outsell everybody. That's why they're the #1 volume Toyota dealership in the country. Get on down to 1841 North State Road 7. Tell them that Big O sent you, and that sales staff will take care of you. Herbie Lopez, Steve Ostrov, all the great people out there at Toyota of Hollywood. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Inter Miami with Michelle Kaufman. That's next.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
It is time now. We turn the page. We're going to talk a little football. We do it every week here with Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. We love talking Inter Miami soccer. Yes, we are getting you ready for the season like nobody else. Keep you informed on all of the moves. And, of course, nobody better than Michelle Kaufman. Follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. More importantly, do what I did. I just paid for my entire year subscription for the Miami Herald ahead of time, supporting, of course, Michelle and all the great people that write there. So do it online. Get it at your doorstep at herald.com. Michelle, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hey, good. Merry Christmas. Happy everything. Hope you're having a good break, and we'll all be watching. I'm sure at 4 o'clock we'll be watching the Independence Bowl.
Oh yes, glued to the tube to watch the Independence Bowl. That's going to be extremely exciting. I can't wait for that. Oh God! So how was the food over the last couple of days here in the holiday season? Did we lose her? Michelle? Wait a minute. Hello? Did we lose her? You don't hear her, right? I'm not hearing her. Hello?
I don't hear her, but she's still on the line.
Okay.
Should we try this again?
Yeah, see what's going on
If
there.
at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah, see what's going on with the Bluetooth, because I don't, we got to, oh, wait a minute. I thought I heard something. All right, let's see if we get her now.
Yeah, that was me hanging up on her.
Oh,
We're going to
okay.
try, like I said, if first you
Okay.
don't succeed, try.
Okay,
We're going
all
to
right.
try again.
All right, let's get Michelle on one more time. Give us a second here.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, we are back. I think we got Michelle now.
This is the Big O Show.
Do we have her? Let's see. No, not yet. What's going on? What are we doing? What are we doing? We trying to get this whole snafu fixed here for you. And by the way, David Dwork will join us after Michelle to talk a little Panthers hockey. Talk a little Panthers after getting routed by Tampa. So we'll get to that, and we'll have a little fun with Mr. Dwork, who, by the way, put a picture of a roast yesterday that was just crazy, and I hope he saved me a nice chunk. All right, we got Michelle now.
Michelle was saying three's a charm. Let's do it.
All right, let's go, Michelle. Are you there?
I am. I'm here. Sorry
There
about
we go.
that.
All good. All good. So how was the food?
Yeah, you were asking about food.
Yes.
Food and like our holiday food.
Yes, of course.
Okay, holiday food was good on Christmas Eve. We did well. The first night we got back we went on a little cruise to the Bahamas. We got back on Monday. So Monday night I did a Hanukkah dinner, and so we had potato latkes and stuff, which was nice. And then for Christmas Eve we did a meatball bake, like an Italian dinner, which was yummy. Then for Christmas morning, Dave's tradition is that he makes pancakes, plain and blueberry pancakes and bacon. Excellent. And yeah, that was our food. So the good news is we got a Peloton as our gift to each other. We invested in a Peloton. So all of this food that we've been eating, we plan to burn off on the Peloton.
Oh, so it's not an insult in your family? Like some people were insulted by the guy that bought a Peloton for his wife, and it's like, give me a break. People got all bent out of shit. Did you see that whole thing?
People, I know. Someone I wrote something on my Facebook that we got a Peloton, and someone wrote, "Oh, I'm surprised you got weren't you offended by the ad?" I'm so tired of everyone being offended by everything. I'm sorry, but this generation, I don't know what the hell, but everyone is offended by everything, and everyone just wants to live their days and nights angry.
Right.
Everyone has to be angry and offended at somebody and upset about something, and I'm sorry. Life is too short, you know.
No,
I'm offended if there's something that's truly offensive. If someone says something against Jewish people or against Hispanic people or anything black, you know, I can be offended, but I'm not offended by every little thing. That's just
stupid.
absurd. You can't live that way. I cannot live that way.
No, I'm with you. My wife and I were talking about this, like we grew up with, like, our parents and grandparents would, like, say things to you to shut you up or get the hell out of here or whatever, and it was just something in a moment of they were pissed or whatever, you know, and they'll tell you something in Spanish or English, And you as a kid would just, you'd like, okay, whatever. You'd walk away, and then, everything's back to normal. These Generation Z and what's it called? These millennials, they could never handle our grandparents or parents who were just like, Archie Bunker-like in a way. They had the little George Jefferson in them. But you knew that whatever they were insulting you at the moment or telling you to shut the hell up, it meant nothing 5 minutes later. I mean, and you kind of knew it. But these kids, it sticks to them like luggage. Like they don't forget about it. Like they think it's something personal. They take everything literal.
Everyone, I just think that they want to have a cause, everybody. I thought to me it all really stems from social media. It's a whole other conversation, but I really think that social media and the internet, there's a lot of good things about the internet. We have a lot of information available to us that we didn't have before, and we can connect with people in other parts of the world, and there's a lot of wonderful things about it. But also, it creates a situation where everyone has a platform. Everybody has their own private TV show and their own private radio show, their own private newspaper, that they can sit there and spew whatever they want to spew, and they find other people that are just like them, and then everyone wants a cause. They have to be offended by this, that, or the other, and then they, call out everybody who doesn't agree with them, and then the other people who are on their team are like, yeah, and it creates so much division. I mean, I really feel like what's happening politically in our country, just everything, there's just so much divisiveness and so much hatred, and nobody talks to anybody who's not like them. Our friends who are lefty Democrats don't talk to our friends who are Republicans. And I mean, it's crazy. It's just, I can't. I'm a happy person. I'm an optimistic person, and I'm going to choose my battles about what to be offended about. And I'm definitely not offended by a Peloton ad. I went out and bought a freaking Peloton, and I love it. It's fun. I did the 30-minute disco ride yesterday with Cody, playing It's Raining Men, Hallelujah, and Casey and the Sunshine Band, and everyone can just kiss my Jubin butt.
I love it. Michelle Kaufman, follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. All right, Michelle, so we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year. Are we closer and closer to getting our damn coach?
Right. Well, I just, because I knew this question was going to come up since it's been coming up for about 4 months now, every Wednesday. I actually reached out to Jorge Mas just a few minutes ago, and I said, listen, when can I be expecting news on this? It's the holidays. I have family in town. I want to be able to plan my days off. And his answer to me was, I will give you an update mañana. So I will give an update mañana. I think in my mind, they already have, he said it himself at the Soccer X conference. We already have our coach selected. Those were the exact words. We already have our coach selected. We're working on his contract, blah, blah, blah. So in my mind, it's either Marcelo Gallardo that we've been saying over and over from River Plate, or Patrick Vieira from Nice. Those are if it's not one of those two, I'll be very surprised. Let me put it that way. It's possible that maybe they were negotiating with those two and it fell through and they've gone to a plan C or something. But in my mind, it's one of those people, the person has already been selected. They've already been in contract talks and probably, even possibly, are in daily talks about personnel and the next designated players and blah, blah, blah. Even though something has not been announced to the public doesn't mean that things aren't going on behind the scenes. But yes, they need to hire coach soon because the training camp starts, I believe it's January 18th or 19th of January, which is 4 weeks away. So 4 weeks away from right now, this team is going to have a practice. They're going to have their first training session. And you would think that they would have a coach in time for the first training session.
Okay, that would be fantastic.
They do point out to me when I keep acting like it's crazy that they don't have a coach. They do keep pointing out to me that there are a couple other teams in MLS right now that fired their coaches at the end of the season, and those teams also don't have coaches yet. And so there is no coach, there is no team to coach at this very moment, on December 26th, there's no practice. There's no team to coach. There's no practices. There are no games until February. So, you know, they don't seem like they don't seem to be panicking as much as the fans seem to be panicking. But I do think that, you know, by December 31st, they should have a coach. I mean, I just think it would be crazy if they don't.
Right, and the international players, is there another deadline? Is that the same kind of deadline, or is that
Well,
something that because of their contracts it might be affecting it, or transfers, or whatever it is?
Right. Well, the thing with that is that the European transfer window is January 1st, starts January 1st, New Year's. So, you know, once that transfer window opens, that's when all those deals are going to be made for the players that are in Europe. So my guess is that January 1st, when the transfer window opens in Europe, that is when we are going to hear, you know, the actual formal announcements. That doesn't mean, again, that they're not talking to players, already working on contracts, talking to the agents. But, you know, but I do think that that's coming soon, but that the announcement of that could be after January 1st. That is possible.
One of our viewers says, speaking of soccer, will Inter Miami show respect to those who grew up supporting the game through the Strikers Fusion and Strikers Again? I'm not sure what that question means, but I think they are going to do some kind of a type of a Hall of Fame type thing, right? Isn't that planned down the line or something like that?
Oh, at the stadium up there, some
Yeah.
sort of a tribute to the teams of the past.
Yeah.
They had mentioned that. They had mentioned something about a tribute at that stadium, since there's so much history at that venue, that that they would do some sort of tribute Hall of Fame or tribute to the original Strikers, obviously, and then the Fusion, and then whatever teams, you know, the new Strikers Part 2 that came along. So, yeah, I would think that there will be some commemoration of, you know, of the soccer history that went on at that stadium.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you knew, because it was very bad timing, but on the night of the 23rd, when everybody was getting ready for the holidays, they did sign 2 more players, including a Haitian player, which will be of interest to our Haitian community and to everybody, but I mean in particular to our Haitian community. They signed a young defender, 21 years old, named Denso Ulysses, and he is a Haitian from the Haitian under-23 national team. So he's playing in Gold Cup qualifiers and Olympic qualifiers and stuff for the under-23 Haitian team. He's been with the Sounders organization in their USL team in Tacoma as a young, rising young talent. He's a right back, supposed to be really fast and really good, and obviously would be thrilled to be playing in Miami as opposed to Tacoma, Washington, because he is a Haitian national. So that's one player, Denso Ulysses, that they just signed on the 23rd. Excuse me. And they signed another backup goalkeeper, Drake Callender, who's been playing at Cal Berkeley, and he was a homegrown player with the San Jose Earthquake. So he came up through San Jose Academy, was signed by the Earthquake, played at Cal Berkeley. He's 22, and they got him as well. So that brings the total. I believe they have 20 players total on the roster right now, with the 2 DPs still to come will be 22. And then the college draft is coming up on January 9th. So they'll fill out their roster. You know, by January 10th, they'll have their full roster.
Now, I would imagine that the draft kids, we'll probably be watching them on the USL team, right? That's probably, well, I mean, they are the first and third picks of the entire draft. Maybe they're really good and they can be on the MLS team, but I almost feel like those are 2 dudes that are probably headed for the USL.
I don't know. It seems to me that they are going to have a completely different roster for the USL team. It's not that their USL players are going to come from this pool. You know, I think the 30 players that are signed for this team are going to be for this team. They're going to be the team that's going to be practicing with this team. They're going to be the reserves for the first team. I think the USL team is going to be a whole separate roster because it's a USL second division USL team. So it's not one step down from the Major League Soccer team. It's two steps down. So I think my understanding, anyway, it's possible that maybe players number 28, 29, and 30, will be moved to the USL.
Oh, to the Miami FC? Miami FC will.
No, not Miami FC. To the Inter Miami USL second team. My understanding is the players that they're drafting are all for Major League Soccer.
Okay.
And USL is going to have a whole separate lineup.
Okay. So, wait a minute. So the college draft will not feed the USL team? It has to, right? The later part of the draft or something?
Well, yeah, later. Yeah, it could later in the draft.
Okay.
But I think the first pick and the third pick that they're getting in the college draft, I think both of those would be players that would be thought of for the Major League Soccer team.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. Nothing new on practice, right? We don't know where they're going to practice yet. That has not been announced.
We do not know where they're going to practice. It's not going to be there. It's not going to be at the Lockhart site. That is not going to be ready quite yet. So, I was hearing that they could be on a couple of college campuses in South Florida for a bit, although it was not working out at That was their first choice. And then I believe they're going to go somewhere. In Central Florida and train with another MLS team, probably either in Orlando or at IMG Academy.
Okay.
Over in Bradenton, they have a very nice facility, and they can train over there and play some practice games. And then I would not be surprised if they leave Florida altogether to another state or even possibly another country.
Wow. Okay. Then they're willing to spend money. That's for sure. That's what you gotta
they're
love.
Going to spend money. They're spending money.
Yeah.
This team is spending money. But I think, honestly, I've been impressed with everything so far. One thing that I think was a big boo-boo is they should have come out with their jersey before Christmas, because so many people have been asking me, including members of my own family and friends. They wanted to buy that as Hanukkah and Christmas gifts, to buy the kit, to buy the shirt, to buy, and it's not available. If you can buy the merchandise, there is Inter Miami merchandise out there, which I did get some from my relatives and stuff.
Caneswear.
Go to Caneswear and get your Inter Miami stuff. But the jersey is not coming out, I don't believe, until after January 1st, which I think is a big miss on their part, a whiff. I mean, I just think that they could have made so much money before Christmas. After the first week of January, I mean, yeah, the true diehard fans are going to buy, but everyone has already spent all their money.
I only have
one
question. Is this out of their control? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe whoever it is, Adidas, Nike, I'm not even sure who's in charge of the jerseys. Is that their call? Was that not Miami's call, or did Miami have some power in this? If they did, then they got to do what you said for sure.
Yeah, I think it's out of their control. I think it's Adidas, and I think it's out of their control.
That makes sense.
Because to me the timing is just weird. It's like you've got Christmas, Hanukkah, you've got all the holidays. Everybody, you've got a new team. People do not own the merchandise. Nobody has the jersey yet on the entire planet. Your team is starting to train in 1 month right after the holidays. Why wouldn't you put those shirts on sale from Thanksgiving? They should have done a big launch on Thanksgiving, and you have 1 month to get your jerseys before the season starts. I mean, it just seemed to me to make perfect sense, but, I don't know everything going on behind the scenes. There's a reason why it hasn't come out yet, but it's a shame, I should say. I should say it's a shame that they didn't come out earlier, because I think they would have sold a lot more.
Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports. More importantly, catch her exceptional work at the Miami Herald website. She is Michelle Kaufman. Michelle, as always, thank you for taking some time here during the holidays. We really appreciate it. And next week, we should be talking coach.
Next week, it's going to be what, the 31st Wednesday, or is it already January 1st next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, I think, is the 1st already.
The 1st, okay.
Yep.
So I would like to think, but I've said this before, it sounds silly, but I would like to think that we will have a coach to talk about by next Wednesday.
Well, Wednesday's the 1st, so let's hope it happens. As always,
Yes.
Michelle, thank you for taking some time. Enjoy that Independence Bowl on the Peloton.
Oh, yes. All right. Take care.
You got it. Be good. There you go. The great Michelle Kaufman. We love it. And she's on the Peloton watching. She says that today she's watching the entire Independence Bowl on the Peloton. How about that?
Wow.
That was funny how that became a thing. Like, people were insulted that the man would buy his wife a Peloton because you're basically telling her that she's fat and she needs to get in shape. And let me tell you something. If somebody's looking out for you and telling you that maybe you need to get in shape, that's actually a good thing. Okay? How about not taking it so personal? How about looking at yourself going, yeah, you know what? I am a fat ass. I need to get on the damn Peloton. I need to go run around the block 800 times. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that. I looked at myself, said, hey, you're a fat ass. You need to lose some weight, and I lost some weight. You can do the same thing. And big deal if you're looking out for your loved one and you buy them a Peloton, they buy you a Peloton, they buy whatever, bro. Who cares? They want you to work out. They want you to look good. That's the worst thing is they don't buy you anything. They don't care about you. They don't talk to you. They don't pay attention. And then that's when they're banging somebody else. It's pretty simple. But if your loved one actually is into you and wants to buy you something nice to wear, wants to buy you a nice dinner, wants to buy you a Peloton, wants to buy you whatever, it's a good thing.
You know, talking about family saying stuff and getting offended.
Yeah.
My grandfather's favorite was, you kids need to go play in traffic.
Right, exactly. You can't do that to kids nowadays, man. They take everything. Everything's personal. Everything's literal.
Thin skin, man.
All right, let's go to David Dwork because he is not thin-skinned.
Let me do a switch out. 1 second, guys. Give us 1 second.
All right, give us a minute here. And we.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, we're going to talk a little Okie. We're going to switch gears here. We're going to talk to my man David Dwork, who does an excellent job of covering the very frustrating Florida Panthers on a daily basis. The Panthers are off tonight and Friday. They will host the Red Wings on Saturday at 7 o'clock. And let's hope that they can turn things around here. Let's bring David on because David, of course, was kicking ass yesterday, making us all look really jealous because he had a roast that he cooked yesterday that was just absolutely outstanding. David, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well. Oh, I'm doing very well. Yourself? Having a good holiday?
How was that roast? Yeah, I had a great holiday until I saw your roast, and I was like, holy crap, that thing is awesome.
Yeah,
man. How perfect was that thing? Because it looked like it really belonged on a brochure. You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
I can't take any credit for cooking it. I have not. I was telling your producer Bill in the break. I haven't reached the hierarchy in my family that I'm allowed to cook in the kitchen on holidays. We've got the older dwarfs that take care of that. But that roast was insane, man. And the carved slices that were on everybody's plate were no joke, like almost an inch thick.
Oh,
it was amazing.
Jealous. So jealous. That thing looked so good, dude. My mouth was watering just looking at that thing. It was awesome. Anyway, David, our boys are coming off a loss to the Lightning, 6-1. Talk to us a little bit about that performance on Monday night. That was a little disturbing.
You have their number the last few games. Even the game that Florida won against Tampa, it was mostly a Tampa-controlled game. And Monday night was just I don't really know where that effort came from, because they had been playing such strong, inspired hockey over the last 7 to 10 days, finishing out the homestand strong. They had a good week of practice going into it. And the discussion was from Q and from several of the players just emptying the tank. We know we have a big holiday break coming up, and the 2 games leading up, you think, okay, these guys are starting to hit that stride again. And then they showed up in Tampa, and it was like hitting a brick wall. Tampa, from the very first minute, they got the lead, and the Panthers were never really in it. They got a power play goal, and that was about it. Otherwise, it was all Tampa the whole game. And it's just dumbfounding because, one game they can look like they have their stuff together, and then they can show up in Tampa and look like that. So, the inconsistency right now is the most troubling part of it.
And that's the inconsistency is something that kind of has been stuck with these guys for the last few years, no matter who the coach is. And so what does Q have to do I mean, hell, if you know that, then obviously this is a difficult question to ask you, almost impossible to put you in that position. But, dude, what does Q have to do to figure out consistency? Because that's been a problem with this team and this group of individuals for a while now. And you add a great goaltender who's not playing great, and you add a great coach, and yet it hasn't changed yet. This team continues to be inconsistent. This year was just a different type of inconsistency. You started off really well, and now you tailed off, and now you're out of the playoff race again, and it's kind of where you've been the last couple of years, on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I think this season with the new coaching staff coming in, I mean, you said it, it's different inconsistency issues, but I think with this year, you're giving Q his first real good long look at everything that this franchise has to offer, whether it's the guys that are playing in the NHL right now or the guys that are a tier below in the AHL, the Borgstroms and the Tippets of the world. But I think with Q, it's just a matter of, A, you keep driving the point home to your team, you keep preaching his system, you keep working it into them day after day after day, and you see if the consistency can come around. But it's also, B, you're evaluating each of these players, and you're getting a good taste of who you feel can handle his system, who he feels can bring the consistency, and anybody who doesn't make that list, well, that's when changes start to be made. With the new regime, I think the first year is just all about evaluating that talent. They're a good enough team that even first year they should absolutely be a playoff team. But overall, this is a long-term play with the Panthers and with Talon. They gave Q that big, long contract, and they're hoping that this is going to become a long-term thing like what he built in Chicago. Year one, I think we're just going to scratch the surface on it, and I think it could be an interesting summer, especially based on what Dale Talon has been up to over the last 6 months with going after Panarin and then inquiring about Taylor Hall. Clearly, they're looking for another big contract if they can get it. So I feel like whatever happens at the end of this year, we're just going to have to see how everything pans out free agency-wise.
By the way, just some breaking, I'm seeing a report this afternoon says Hurricanes are getting rid of Dan Enos, win or lose, in the Indy Bowl game. I'm reading that right now from FootballInsiders.com, Florida Football Insiders.
Yeah, I think Tim Reynolds had that earlier today.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Wow, so they're going to get rid of Dan Enos either way, huh? Interesting how that breaks. You look at the inconsistencies, all right? You cover the team. And look, David, you and I know it, and most Panther fans that follow the team, we knew this wasn't going to be an elite defensive team. So we know that that's an issue going in, that they're not elite in that area. They can be elite in scoring, and we know that they can be elite in goaltending. So what is it that you're seeing that you think Q can he fix at all on defense and the goaltending to improve the defensive side? Because we know that, they only scored 1 goal the other night, but we know that this team can show us more consistency on the offensive end than the defensive end. So talk to me more about the defensive end.
I mean, with the defense and the Panthers, it's very much a 5 players on the ice game. It's not just the defensemen that are out there. And the inconsistencies that I've noticed the most
aren't necessarily problems with the defensemen. It's just the defensive system. The big thing that I've seen is the forwards just aren't always on the same page. And it's whether it's a gap control issue, whether it's just blown assignments in the defensive zone. They just some games everybody will be exactly where they need to be. No, you're not going to see 5 guys within a few feet of each other like you saw several times against Tampa on Monday. You're going to see a spread out defense. You're going to see guys picking up their men, watching their quadrants of the zone. And for the reason without the consistency, I wish I had the answer to that, because then maybe I'd be getting paid from the team. But it's just a matter of getting all 5 players on the ice on that same page, and it's just keeps coming back to that same word, inconsistency. And yeah, I mean, just trying to put my finger on one particular thing, it's hard, because it's been, like I said, it's been issues with the gaps between the forwards and the defensemen. It's been issues with your defensemen are getting in the right place, and then they're getting left hung out to dry because guys from the opposing team are coming into the zone. It's ending up like a 3 or 4 on 2 because the forwards are so far behind. And it comes down to guys like, I don't like to throw names out there, but off the top of my head, thinking like Hoffman, his back checking has been an issue. It's tough. Oh, it really is. And I'm imagine that, as I said before with Quenneville, he's just figuring out which guys are going to fit in his system and which guys aren't going to fit. And after the season is over, we're going to see some changes, I would think.
And how much, and I know that you play hockey and you play the goalie position, how much of this is affecting the psyche of Bobrovsky and affecting him, that maybe he thinks he's got to make up for a little bit of their inconsistencies too, and maybe he's anticipating even on trying to block shots some of their shortcomings, and it's affecting him in doing his job, because obviously we're not getting the Bobrovsky that we all thought we were going to get here in late December as it is. So walk me through all of that too.
I think that if you would have asked me that question maybe like 6 weeks ago, I would have had a much different answer, because that's when Bob was really kind of in flux. His season was up and down. He was, sometimes happy in the locker room. Sometimes he was very quick to answer. He at one point even talked about his defenseman a little bit and that he wasn't happy with it. But I think since like mid to late November, Bob has been in a great mental state. He seems to be really locked in, whether it's in practice, whether it's in games. He's been very consistent. And he's just overall, he seems like if he's not focused, he's just happy. Like I've seen him smiling and laughing and just having a good time in practice a lot more than I did earlier in the year. So I think from Bobrovsky's standpoint, I think he's just locked in and doing his thing. And yeah, as a goaltender, you just come to expect that. Some games your guys in front of you are going to have it a little differently than others. And some games you're going to have to stop 40 shots, and some games you might not face 20 shots. And with Bob and with goalies in general, it's just like a starting pitcher. You go out there and you know what you want to do, and you try your best to do your thing. And especially with Bob, it's so much of it, and we've talked about it before, so much of a mental thing with him. He's so in his own head. And a lot of it, it's a good thing when everything is on the same page, and we're seeing that right now. We've seen it throughout his career. But early in the season is when, he was figuring his things out. But Bob is one of the least of my concerns right now, and I'm hoping that we get to talk to him, because I know Bob has been a big discussion point between you and I. And I think right now, as far as his brief time in a Panther sweater, he's in the best place that he's been.
That's why I asked you, because I know he has played a little better, still not to where we want him. But that's why I asked you about the environment around him, how much it's affecting him in trying to make up for it, because he's got to know deep down inside, like, these guys in front of me are not good enough. You know what I mean? So he's got to have some level of insecurity around him, not about his ability, but the ability of the guys in front of him. And that's got to be disturbing for a goaltender, because he really can't control that.
Well, I mean, obviously I can't speak for Bob at all, but from my personal perspective, from the goaltending perspective, I think, especially with this Panthers team, like, yes, they're struggling, but being that he's there, he sees it way better than anybody else. There's plenty of talent on this roster. It's certainly a capable roster. You throw in a coach like Quenneville, there's no reason to think that they won't be able to get everything together. They should be able to. We're not even at the halfway point of the season yet, and we've seen that when they're on point, that it can work. So with Bob, I feel like he gets so in his own head with his own game and focused on his technicalities, where his footwork is, his hands, all that stuff. it's just not. It's like not worth it to start worrying about those things that are out of your control. Just go out there, do your thing. And that's the impression that I get of Bob, that he just wants to go out there and make sure he's doing everything at the top of his game, and that everything else that's out of his hands, fall where it may. Basically, you got to trust that this team is going to get everything together. And for him, if he's not trusting that and able to focus on his own game, then he's kind of losing before he steps on the ice.
WPLG reporter, writer David Dwork joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at David Dwork. So in a way, David, the way you kind of described the team with the talent and all of that, it's also maybe there's a level of a lack of confidence, not for Bob, I'm saying, for the guys in front. Do they need to go like on a little run where they play well so they can start to kind of believe in themselves that they can be a better defensive squad? How much of that maybe you think is lacking for the Panthers on defense, confidence?
I think the confidence obviously winning and playing well is going to breed confidence, but I think it all just kind of ties into the same basic mentality of if they're playing the way Q wants them to play, if they're doing what they're supposed to do, it's going to translate into playing better and wins and confidence, and it's all just going to fall into place. So in that sense, yeah, if they can string a few wins together and if they can figure out how to consistently play this defense as a five-man unit the way Q wants them to, who knows what we could see in the second half of the year, because their schedule is going to get a lot easier too. They played a lot of tough teams in the first half of the year, so that's going to get a little bit better. The games are going to get more spaced out. They should get a little bit more practice time, and it's just so hard to speculate. But I would imagine that because they have the talent, and one thing about the Panthers and what Dale Talon has done with this team is not just talented, but smart players. He's got a lot of smart guys on this team that know hockey. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue over the course of the season for them to get on that Q program. And I still firmly believe that it's going to happen only because we've seen it, not maybe game in and game out and game in and game out, but we've seen it in enough chunks that the talent and the ability is there. It's just a matter, and I hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but it's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page.
Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork and catch his work there at WPLG's website. And tell him about the podcast, my man, Chirping the Cats.
Chirping the Cats, the podcast, anywhere you get your podcast, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. It's been cool so far. We've had interviews with Barkov, Huberdeau, Matheson, Jovanovski's jumped on there, Jokinen, former Panthers. And, it's the 10th episode is coming up with George Richards from The Athletic. He tells some really funny stories about he's covered the team for like 15 years now, so got some interesting past goalies. A couple of former Panthers goalies possibly getting in a fist fight one night at a bar, and some trade stories, some good stuff, man. So the next episode will drop probably this weekend.
There you go. Chirping the Cats, David Dwork. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork and catch his work there at Channel 10 or WPLG's website. David, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time, and don't leave us out of the roast next time.
Anything for you, Big O.
You got it, baby.
Take care, my friend.
Be good. There you go. David Dwork, man. Good stuff there, as always. Love it. So the Dan Enos era with the Hurricanes could be reaching its end. The Independence Bowl on Thursday will be Enos' final game as Miami OC. The Associated Press reported that before the Hurricanes kicked off against Louisiana Tech Bulldogs in Shreveport, the two have agreed to mutually part ways, according to the report. Barring a significant change in plans, the Miami Hurricanes and offensive coordinator Dan Enos are expected to part ways after today's Independence Bowl. Tim Reynolds, who covers the South Florida sports for the AP, reported. One source told the Miami Herald there have been internal discussions regarding the situation. Another told the Herald it's not good there right now regarding some of the players, and that quarterback Jaron Williams, for one, does not get along with Enos. Now you know why they haven't decided on a quarterback. Yo, Bet La Tech, bro. Bet La Tech. How is favored by 7? Enos' arrival in Gables with much fanfare in January, soon after Manny Diaz was hired as coach Enos, who is also a quarterbacks coach, spent last season as the Alabama Crimson Tide's quarterbacks coach, helping guide star quarterbacks Tua to a record-breaking season. Diaz, however, offered Enos the opportunity to call plays once again and lead the entire Miami offense. Before the Hurricanes formally announced the hire, Diaz and other coaches tweeted out cryptic videos of Yasiel Puig hitting a home run, suggesting a home run hire was impending. He was highly sought out by other schools in the Southeastern Conference that he turned down to come to the University of Miami. And like I said, he meets the requirements of what we felt like our guys needed to have the greatest chance to succeed on offense, Diaz said in January after they hired him. So, well, there you go.
If you remember, we were all excited because the possibility of Jalen.
No, and Enos
and
Jalen.
And the way he handled, yes, and the way he handled the whole situation with Tua and everybody and all that, and how successful they were. Yeah, got a question. Some of the play calling in the course of the year, we questioned specific. What are you doing calling this play at this time? And you're not using Brevin Jordan, and there was a lot of it.
Navarre goes, caught Dan Enos as he was walking off the field pregame. All I got was this terrible photo. Oh, Lordy. So they are going to part ways with Dan Enos.
Now, question. Because of Manny's lack of track record, now he does. A 6-6 track record. What kind of offensive coordinator are you going to be able to entice to come here?
Very weak one. That's
Or
the problem with that.
You got to go Division II, right? 3, whatever, and get some super that wants a chance at a Division I, right?
Yeah, you got to get some up-and-coming guy and all that good stuff. But the problem is you're already on technically a hot seat for next year. You've already fired the first guy you brought in. You have backtracked on 80% of your statements already that you've made. It's like the worst thing you could ever deal with is if you've ever had a boss that tells you one thing and then does something else. And then this is the plan this week and then changes it the following week because they have no idea what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so I've dealt with radio people like that too, that have no idea what the hell they're doing. Or some people that actually think they're radio people, but they're really not. They're just thieves. But anyway, so I've dealt with all kinds of people like that, and that's not good. And that's the thing about Manny, that Manny does not sell stability now. So you're not going to get a quality offensive coordinator to come over here now. And the fact that Jaron Williams and him don't get along, that's not good, dude. I mean, come on, brother. I mean, that's just wrong on every level. You can't build on something like that. That's the kind of stuff that's going to get out. And so now the guy you're going to fire is the guy making calls today. I mean, and the guys that's not getting along with other people, man, this is not a good situation. Again, Bet La Tech. Hashtag Bet La Tech. All right?
It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, I don't know how this looks good on anybody. Again, I didn't understand why they were even favored. I don't.
No, well, that made no sense.
Picking or maybe La Tech by 1 or Miami by 1, I can understand.
A pick 'em, I could, yeah.
Or 1 point each. Whatever. Barely over favorite or 7 points. Yeah. No, dude, you're lucky if you win this game. Period. We gotta stop with this already, dude. There's nothing about this program that reflects what the University of Miami used to be. Nothing at all. Not coaching, not these players. Most of these players can never, ever hang with old UM teams.
Oh, no. No way.
Forget about it, bro.
They couldn't play with you know what? In our good years, they couldn't hang with the third stringers.
Right.
Straight up.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's what I'm saying. Just nuts, man. All right, we got to wrap it up here on the show. 4 hours in. We thank a lot of people. We thank Jeff Sheesby. We thank Matt Shodell, Michelle Kaufman, Jake Rowe, David Dwork. I think we had enough today, right? I think it's kind of a loaded show, right?
No.
They got gambling. They got soccer. They got football. They got college football. They got hockey. We talked about everything. Name it.
We even heard from the coach.
Food, Peloton. We didn't leave anything out. Hell, we even got Seth Greenberg for you, right? Who's that basketball player from Milwaukee?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
What?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Right. We even got Antetokounmpo. We covered it all.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Have a great one out there. Be good. Be safe. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, John Cassio. And thanks to all of you for keeping it locked here on the Big O Radio Show. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Bright and early at Craig's Inn Acura. We'll be live out there at 9 a.m. And then we'll be live at 1 p.m. over at Hialeah Park.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Y'all have a good night. See you later.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.